A-Rod. He looks like Kramer in Seinfeld with the spray tan. He looks like a raccoon.
Oh, no. What did you say?
No. You know,
Fox.
Joe, I was actually thinking about texting A-Rod, but I didn't know how to do it. You know, he goes on that month-long vacation in the Mediterranean, and he got so tan. But now it looks like he had goggles on, so the area around his eyes are all white, and the rest of his face is really dark, and the makeup has to spread it out better. They have to even it out. It's a little much.
I mean, he's a grown man, Michael.
Yeah, but do you ever? You didn't see yourself, did you, Don? When you were an abject mess, you didn't see yourself.
Yeah, but I'm also not Alex Rodriguez. I didn't see myself because I was a radio guy that didn't care to look. Yeah. I mean, he's a television guy. He's got a brand. There's a brand here.
Listen, I never.
He looks like an adult. He's always been an adult.
He just. No, you know what I mean? He got like. Let me put it this way. Let me quote my wife. You know, and my wife. You know my wife's theory on baseball. She roots for the Mets because, you know, Queens, but she rooted for the Yankees because, you know, A-Rod and Jeter were hot. And she yesterday said that Jeter is still giving Zaddy, but A-Rod's not giving.
I'm sorry, I'm not
What's
familiar with that.
Zaddy?
Yeah,
Zaddy. You know, giving Zaddy vibes. Zaddy.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
You know,
I don't
hot,
know.
like daddy with a Z. It means like hot guy. Like that's the It's the kids. It's the kid. You know these young millennials.
I'm not a kid.
No,
but my kids will grow and get to know. I want to be able to have a conversation.
No, right, exactly. But you don't want them saying that yet.
I don't want Jalen saying Zaddy. I don't want that to come.
Yesterday, Kelly dropped this on me. Mommy keeps glazing this. I don't get it.
Did she really? She's using glazing like that. And that's, by the way, not appropriate either.
No, if you really break it down to what it means.
I can imagine the origin.
It's not. Though it's not what you want. There are two hard phone calls. So there are two hard phone calls that I'm going to make this week. I'm calling A-Rod. I'm going to talk to him about the makeup, and I'm calling Rich Eisen. I'm telling him no more commentary.
You have some nerve. This is one of the great broadcasters in history.
And I'm going to say that. Part of my call is going to go. You are one of the great sports talk show hosts we've ever seen as a nation. I don't need you calling my football on Sunday.
Talk show host. I mean, he does have his own talk show.
No, he does.
But I mean, he's
a
host.
He's a host.
I know, but I believe his absolute strong suit is the radio program and interview.
I want to conference me in because I'm with you on this one. Because
you guys have some sack.
No, but listen to me. We're paid to give opinions, okay?
On sports.
Right.
On
sorry,
sports.
Michael.
He's not a colleague of mine. I don't know him.
I know him very well. So you put me in a bad spot here.
My intent's to throw 99. All of a sudden, I like this batter. I'm now going to just pitch it underhand, all right? It's a big boy league. Let's get down, all right?
Drop.
He's outstanding at what he does.
Absolutely.
There's no question. But like Bryant Gumbel, not a play-by-play guy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's like a cadence. It doesn't seem like it comes naturally to him. He does the best he can, and it's fine. But for the caliber of broadcaster he is, and again, I'm mentioning Bryant Gumbel. It almost doesn't get any better.
No, Bryant Gumbel's one of the greatest broadcasters of all time.
He was one of the original NFL Network guys, and I remember being on the air thinking, this guy's outstanding what he does. Just play-by-play's not in his wheelhouse. It's a compliment in a way to just say you're too good to do this because it's just not your thing.
And it feels extra glaring because it was Warner who was on color yesterday, right?
Yes, Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to Warner, who has the smoothest tone and the perfect cadence and timing. And there's nothing ostensibly that's bad about what Rich does. It just doesn't work for me. I don't like it. That's right.
It's like, listen, could we all agree George Clooney's a really good actor?
Yeah.
All right, but if you put him in a musical and he sings and dances, he may not be as good. And we could take George aside and say, you know what, maybe musicals aren't your thing. That doesn't mean you're not a great actor. What is so wrong with
nothing?
that?
I love the context, though, running into Clooney and telling him.
I don't deal in fear.
No.
How do you have a name on your show? You're Michael K. Don't be scared.
I'm not scared. I don't necessarily agree with you guys on this.
And they're also,
if they were good friends, then this phone call should have already been made.
No, you're not. By the way, Michael, I'm going to defend you here. Don's full of it. He has friends in the broadcast business who have done a bad job, and he doesn't pick up the phone.
But he has a friend who he works with on Ranger games that tramples on his calls. He won't say a word. Tramples.
This is not. All right, you're getting a little too close to the sun. Listen, nobody's saying bad job. See, you're misunderstanding. It's not a bad job.
Why'd you bring this up, Peter? This is a bad job by Peter.
It's the wrong job.
All right, but Don, let's move on now. I wanted to make my point and stir it up a little bit. I don't want to go down a whole thing.
Every time I got to look like a bad guy.
No,
because I criticize Al Michaels like I'm supposed to bow at the altar. I'm sorry, I got paid to give opinions.
And you give great ones.
He mailed in another one on Thursday. People were complaining. It was like the Bucks Falcon preseason game from '78.
Really? But I thought that game was a humdinger.
All right, I've got the Royals line up here.
Oh, thank God.
Garcia at third, leading off. Witt Jr. the shortstop, Pasquantino the DH, Sal Perez will catch, Gurriel at first, Massey at second, Pham in left, Renfroe in right, Hampson in center, Reagan's on the mound. By the way, just an aside, so John Birdie's playing first base for the Yanks.
Yeah.
First time he's ever played first base, ever.
Literally.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question about the Yankees real quick.
He's never played it in the majors or the minors. He played three innings in spring training in 2021.
Coach pitch. He was fast.
Oh, yeah, what about high school?
I haven't gotten back to the high school resume.
All right, well, look, digging that. But real quick, remember, what was my biggest concern? What's generally my biggest concern about the Yankees when we go to the playoffs?
I don't know.
Don, do you remember? Do you pay attention to what I said? Don, let's see. Do you pay attention to what I said?
Let's see if your buddy Don knows what you're saying.
Let's see if Don knows. When we talk about the Yankees in the playoffs, where do I usually go?
I don't know. We don't listen to you.
The lack of offense.
Thank you. And then particularly, who in particular worries me a bit?
Judge.
Well, that would be Aaron Judge. Yeah.
And what happened on Saturday?
Nothing.
3 strikeouts, 0 for 4. It obviously
left a ton. Hawthorne's got more of the same population they left on the base path.
So I don't know. Listen, obviously, Michael, you hope for a bounce back game today because I'd hate to see a situation where you go 2 games into this and people are worrying: is after this amazing season, is he not going to be able to hit in the playoffs? And I guarantee you, if it happens 2 games in a row, he's going to start to feel it.
Well, here's Anthony in Throgsnack. I think he's worried.
Pete, let me tell you something, brother. It's already time to sound that alarm.
Okay, sound it. Sound off.
Here, he is not a good postseason hitter. I love the 50-something home runs and 100-something RBIs in the regular season. I'm all for it. But when it comes to the postseason, this guy throws up dubs every time. He was in 3 big spots on Saturday night where he could have put the Yankees ahead. The first inning, he struck out. He did it again in the 4th, and he did it again in the 8th inning.
Anthony, let me ask you a question. I want to ask you this question because we're from the same neighborhood. How many games do you think that Aaron Judge has played in the postseason?
Like,
45.
It's got to be north of.
How many home runs do you think he has in 45 games?
Less than 10.
He's got 13, so that's about 45 for a 162-game season. He has not hit well. I'm not going to argue with you about that, but he has 13 home runs in 45 games. That's not nothing. It's not. It's 45 Mike, for 162 games.
Mike, that's great. And you know what? You just surprised me by saying that. However, he needs to come up big now. We have Juan Soto now. Juan Soto went 3 for 4 on Saturday night. Alex Verdugi had the biggest hit of the game. We need Aaron Judge to be our guy. He has to.
I agree. But here's the thing that you should rest on, Ant. Here's the thing that you could rest on. They won the game with him striking out 3 times. If they lose games where he doesn't perform well, then you can panic. But they won the game.
I know.
But he has to hit better. I agree. Right. He's been bad.
Well, it's really a shame just because I think everybody's just assuming they're going to beat the Royals and they're just looking this as kind of a whet your appetite for what's to come. So it's not even about, well, you beat the Royals. All right, we don't need Aaron Judge to beat the Royals, but we're certainly going to need him to beat the Guardians and to win the World Series. Just to push back, Michael, on what you said about the home runs. All right, the home runs are about the same, but everything else is not. When you take a look at his postseason, he has a 206 batting average, 307 on base, 451 OPS, 451 slugging, a 758 OPS. All significantly down from what he is as a regular season player. So you could talk about the home runs being almost equal, but everything else is way down, way down. I won't panic like the caller, but he needs to be better.
No, he wasn't panicking. I don't say Anthony was wrong. I mean, a lot of people, Judge and Stanton didn't have good games on Saturday. They didn't. And Judge has had a history of not hitting for average, but the power is there. If it's a big home run, all will be forgotten. Just like it was forgotten with A-Rod in 2009. All of his failures they were forgotten. Aaron Boone, we'll hear from him when we get back. But first, Don wants to talk about BetMGM.
With Udemy, there's a world of possibility at your fingertips. With one click, you're in the leading online marketplace for learning and skills. Want to become an AI expert? This is learning from real-world experts around the globe. Want to awaken your artistic side? This is learning your way. Want to switch professions? Help your team reskill? This is Udemy, the power of possibilities.
When we started Warby Parker, we just sold glasses, and only online. But people liked them. A lot. So we offered more things, like sunglasses and contacts. And then we thought, what if we sold eyewear online and in stores? So we did that. And now we have stores in neighborhoods all over. There you can chat with friendly opticians and get eye exams from top-notch doctors. Now, no matter where you go, we've got your eyes covered.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always. So you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
Switch to Square and join over 4 million businesses worldwide. Scheduling is easy with Square appointments. Clients can book online 24/7. Take payments at your station or the front desk to offer seamless checkouts. Keep track of commissions and split tips with just a few clicks. Gain time and peace of mind with beauty tools that bring everything together. Switch to Square today at square.com.
Hi, I'm stylist Mimi Cottrell. Let's talk shoe trends for fall. Animal print is an additive to make any outfit fun and quirky, from runways to retail. I really like the ballet flat for this season because it's not only comfortable and feminine, I think it elevates any look, and it's also very professional. Court sneakers are everywhere this season. What I love about court sneakers is the range of colors. Every girl should already have them in their closet. Find the trend that inspires you at DSW.
With Harry's, you get a smooth shave at a great price because you get all of this for as low as $2 per refill, half of what the other guys charge. Wake up to Harry's. Get your trial set for just $7 at harrys.com/fresh.
Right now, returning lessees can lease the Ford F-150 for $299 a month for 24 months. Only at your local Ford stores.
Hi, I'm Greg. I live in Bloomington, Illinois. I'm not an actor. I'm just a regular person. Some people say, why should I take Prevagen? I don't have a problem with my memory. Memory loss is not something that occurs overnight. I started noticing subtle lapses in memory. I want people to know that Prevagen has worked for me. It's helped my memory. It's helped my cognitive qualities. Give it a try. I want it to help you just like it has helped me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription.
You know why I love Halloween?
Why?
People give me Kit Kats for free.
Son, you're 8. All your Kit Kats are free.
Happy Halloween! Have a break, have a Kit Kat.
Do you know what can get your friends to vote this year? You can. Because when people are encouraged by friends like you, they're far more likely to vote. So use your power. Ask your friends to make a voting plan at votevotevote.com.
Here we go, let's go, yeah. The Bombers are set for an epic October run.
Just outstanding.
And yes is your Yankees postseason home.
This team is set up to go deep into October.
With enhanced pre- and post-game coverage around every playoff game, plus preview specials and exclusive player access.
We're excited to take our shot.
You followed the chase all season. Tonight, get set for a pivotal Game 2 against the Royals. Starts tonight at 6:30 on Yes and the Yes app.
What would you do for clean water? For over 700 million people around the world, the answer is literally anything. Walk for hours, stop going to school, sacrifice sleep, health, money, and time, all for water that's not even safe to drink. It doesn't have to be this way. This is a problem we can solve together. Join Charity Water in our mission to end the global water crisis. Visit charitywater.org today.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Well, after week 5 of the $2,000 ESPN New York Survivor Pool, 76 players survived, with a few more invested in tonight's Kansas City game. 61 players were knocked out, with the most eliminations coming from the Seahawks and the Niners, including, I'm so sorry, the last ESPN personality, Don LaGreca, who was eliminated.
I got to tell you, I wanted to win so badly, but with everything going on, I didn't find out until like 8:30. I assumed they won because they were up, I think, by like 10 points at one point. And there was just too much going on.
Don. But you beat all of us.
I did feel good winning the ESPN, but I wanted that money for the charity. Maybe I'll just have to donate it anyway.
No, you got that kind of cake.
That's the right thing to do. I have a lot of cake.
Follow along on the ESPN New York app.
Excuse me.
Powered by runyourpool.com.
Yeah.
So there are people that are nominated for the Hank Aaron Award in the National League and the American League. And the Hank Aaron Award is for the best hitter. So there are people that will win an American League Cy Young and a National League Cy Young. American League MVP, National League MVP. Can we stop the nonsense? Every team plays every team.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we doing? How are we delineating between the National League winner and the American League winner? Just make one Cy Young Award. Make one MVP.
Yeah, you're right when it comes to that. I mean, you do have like an AFC and NFC Player of the Week, but when you have the awards, you don't have an AFC MVP and an NFC MVP. You're right. I don't know why. I know people that are traditionalists want to keep the whole league thing going, but now that you have the same umpires, universal DH, full-time interleague play, Michael, it's time to do away from the leagues. Honestly, their conferences and the MVP and the Cy Young should go to the best in baseball, period. Because think about the debate you'd have between Shohei and Judge.
Unbelievable.
It would be incredible stuff. So it's time to stop hanging on to the old traditions. It's over.
Oh, it's over. You're not even dancing. It's over.
No, but
you're not. That's why I brought it up.
No, for people of a certain age, even Peter, there used to be different umpires. You know, the American League umpires used to have the chest protector, and so sometimes they couldn't see the lower strike, that bubble thing. So different umpires. One league had a DH, the other one didn't. They never played each other. Like there was the games were played differently. Now it's the same thing. What are you hanging on to? It's almost fraudulent at this point.
Did you guys see the somewhat contentious back and forth on First Take between Shannon Sharp and Dan Orlovsky, where Sharp essentially accused Orlovsky of being a Rogers shill? He said, you're always talking about how it's everybody's fault. Why don't you say it's Rogers' fault? But you're afraid to criticize Rogers.
Wow.
I mean, it got heated, and he said, and Orlovsky goes, I'm a quarterback that barely, was a backup in the NFL. I'm not going to criticize a guy who's going to the Hall of Fame like that. And then Shannon Sharp said, sorry, that's your job.
Yeah, he's right. That's. I wanted to defend my guy to the point of throwing. I'd throw down with Shannon.
Punches
to protect my guy. But no, that's fine. What you decide to fight whether you're going to win or not. Orlovsky's our guy. Shannon's never been on this show.
I get it,
but
he was right.
He was right. But you know what? Sometimes you gotta defend the guy even when he's wrong. But come on, Dan, you can't say that. I'll criticize a Hall of Famer. That's your job. But so now we've gone. This is what drives me nuts. Now we've gone, well, you can't have an opinion, you didn't play, to now you can't have an opinion, you didn't go to the Hall of Fame. Come on, that's not right.
That was an odd comeback by Dan. It was a lot.
Come on.
A little bit.
Do you know how many coaches, managers? So Bill Belichick never played it down in the NFL, or I'm sure anywhere, really. But he can't criticize a player, can't bench a player? Come on. He was a defensive guy, and he was able to still have something to say about the offense. You got to stop. Dan Orlovsky has proved himself to know the game of football. Now, I think he should be allowed to criticize a Hall of Famer. Dan should not hold himself back because he was barely a backup. He did play in the NFL, but he knows. He watches film. Come on, man. Stand up for yourself, Danny boy. I'll back you up. I'll go to war with you, but I need you to fight with me, man. I'm not going to fight his battles.
No, you can't.
I'll fight alongside him.
Sure.
I'm not going to fight for him.
No.
He's special.
Who's with me?
I'm with you.
Come on,
but I would not physically fight Shannon Sharp. That would be over within seconds.
I just want to say, if listen, Dan's our guy, but if all of a sudden we found out next week we could get a Shannon weekly, then very quickly they'd be on equal footing. And then guess what? I don't know. Shannon might surpass.
Not automatically. We've had weeklies that I would never say that I'd want to talk to again.
I have a hunt. I feel like if you had Shannon
because of his landline.
I feel like if you had Shannon for a weekly, he'd be tremendous.
I'm not saying he wouldn't, but he's got to bring it first. What, just because you're a weekly, we got to treat you like Steve Young?
No, nobody's
You
Steve
sell
Young.
yourself that cheap, Peter? Really?
Well, I mean, listen, Dan Orlovsky loved the guy. He ain't Steve Young either.
Well, nobody on our air is Steve Young.
And his line has left some things to be desired here and there.
That is true.
All right, let's go to Yankee Stadium and hear from Aaron Boone right now in front of the media.
Aaron, you have John Birdie in the lineup this evening. What did you see over the workout days with him working at first base that gave you the confidence to put him in there in a playoff game, considering he really doesn't have any reps there?
Yeah. I mean, he's looked outstanding over there. I will say that in his work. He's played a little bit in spring training over the years, but just a really natural infielder. So, and just the person that I have a lot of confidence in. So, look, right now with obviously Riz going down with, a day left in the season, not being ideal, we're not necessarily in that perfect situation from a first base standpoint. So, I'm going to mix and match over there. And obviously Cabby did a great job, I felt like, in game one. And I kind of have that same confidence with John. And not to mention that added element that he brings to the table just from just being a really well-rounded player, good offensive player with speed. We feel like we can do some things at the bottom of the lineup, athletically with him in there as well.
How much consideration was there given to Ben Rice left with Reagan?
Yeah, I mean, that was as much as anything. With Reagan's obviously being more of a reverse guy, I did consider Ben being the guy, but also just, it's a pretty tough draw for your first playoff after, getting called up the last day of the season, first playoff game being against one of the toughest lefties in the game too. So I didn't necessarily, ultimately that's why I decided, I think, on John. Just feel like he's really looked the part over there this last week and feel like he brings a lot to the table too.
Against the wall on your right, Andy.
And what was the reasoning for choosing Schmidt over Heel for Game 3?
I mean, the best I can tell you is I just feel like he's the right guy for that game. I feel like, I have a lot of confidence in what both bring to the table. And hopefully if we're able to move on, then Louis obviously going to find himself back in the rotation as well if you move on in this thing. But right now, I think best that he plays a role in the pen for us. And I just feel like Clark is in a spot to where he's ready to go for Game 3.
Just a couple of factors of that. In September, you talked about bullpen experience possibly being a factor. Obviously, Schmidt has that. And then, for his greatest season, his Heels had some command issues at times.
Yeah.
So how much did those things get?
Yeah, I mean, I guess a little bit all of it. But, as much as Clark has had experience, he still hasn't been down the pen for a couple of years. He is a full-time starter just like Luis. So, I think it's a little bit of an unknown there. That said, it's playoffs now. It's postseason. So, there's going to be games, hopefully, if you get long in this where, it's a little unorthodox and a starter ends up in a big moment at the back end of a game. Those things are going to come up. So I just want our guys ready for all things. But I just felt good about Clark being the right choice for Game 3.
And Heel's healthy.
Heel's healthy.
First row on your left, Chris.
With Cabrera not starting today, is it just a matter of him not having much left-on-left experience?
A little bit. Yes, that's a lot of it, but also having a lot of confidence in John too, and feeling like both guys, especially with Riz out, are gonna, play a meaningful role in this thing if we're gonna get far. And I view John and Oswaldo a little bit similar. They both bring so much versatility to the table. But yeah, it's a little bit. Ozzy's not done. We've seen him obviously certain situations this year go left on left, but not a lot of experience doing that either.
And then with Luis, what role do you see him filling in the bullpen? Is it a bulk relief role, or is it high leverage?
Yeah, and any and all. Probably in a perfect world, you try and get him a clean inning. But it could be anything from where you need to fill some innings, or in a certain game you get up against it and he's got to pitch in a big spot in an inning. So we got to be ready for all things.
Second row on your left, Peter.
You mentioned Reagan's one of the toughest lefties in the league. What is it exactly that makes him so tough, and what did you learn when you guys faced him earlier?
Yeah, fastball command, but an elite fastball, mid upper 90s fastball, really good changeup, which, he obviously, he can go in and out with his fastball really well. Thought he did a really good job of that with Baltimore, where he command the inside part of the plate with his fastball, elevate the fastball, really good changeup to go with it, and then a couple of different breaking balls. So, he's going to, I'm sure, receive some Cy Young Award votes, and he's been one of the best pitchers in the American League this year, and we'll have our work cut out for us.
First row on your right, Aaron. Bruce.
Glaber, 32 playoff games, a .282 batting average, 19 RBIs. Why do you think he's a valuable, confident player in the postseason?
Well, I think he's just a really good hitter, and usually a lot of times those good hitters, those good bat to ball guys, can show up in the postseason. And he's done that in his career, obviously. And obviously he walks into this October in a really good spot, playing really well, having an extended run now of really consistent offense for us. And he carried that into game one, certainly.
Do you think he has thrived in that leadoff spot and that kind of changed things this year?
He has thrived. I don't think he has. But he also started the year in the leadoff spot. Like, we broke camp, he was my leadoff hitter. He struggled a little bit, had to get him out, but once he got it going back, it was right back in there. And I just think, like, he's been in a really good frame of mind, and we're just seeing a really good hitter find his level here in the second half of the season and carry it into game one and hopefully beyond now.
The second row on your right, Justin.
Aaron, how did Nestor come through after yesterday?
I'm not sure yet today if he's throwing again. Yesterday went really well. Like, his catch play, I think everyone, including Nestor, were really encouraged. So we'll see what we have now in the days moving forward, but yesterday was a good step.
Are you more encouraged that he could be a player this month?
I don't know how he's doing today or what he's doing yet today, but I know yesterday was encouraging enough to know that, at some point it could be a possibility.
Go to the fourth row on your right, Dan, then Laura.
What did you think of Volpe's kind of playoff debut the other night? Hit a few balls hard, but made the uncharacteristic throwing error.
Yeah, that was really good. I was really encouraged by the at-bats. Big walk in that situation off Schreiber, who's tough, being able to lay off some pitches. Like you said, the other two were, I feel like he's had some really good work this week offensively. Made a really good play to his backhand where Cabby picked the ball. The error those things happen from time to time. Everyone says, like, he rushed. I'm like, have you ever seen him play? That's how he plays. Like, and we go. That's what makes him so unique and special, is he plays so fast and always under control. Misfired on a throw a little bit, happens. But I was really encouraged, too, by the at-bats.
Have you seen anything in his mentality change? Because obviously this is something he's wanted to do forever, play in the playoffs for the Yankees. I know that he's been here for 2 years now, but this is a little bit different, this kind of atmosphere.
Yeah, he seems the exact same to me, honestly. And just watching him and my interactions with him, feel like he's ready for it. But I feel like he had a good week of work leading up that I thought showed itself from an at-bat standpoint, which is encouraging.
Stay there with Laura.
Luke Weaver did pretty well in his first playoff performance. When you look at him and his personality, what about him do you think allows him to be so adaptable, whether it's changing the pitch grip, changing his role, and now doing well in the postseason?
Well, I think it starts with he has really good command, okay? I mean, of his pitches, first off. Like, so from his talent as a pitcher, like command he's got. And I think going to the bullpen, making some mechanical tweaks, we've seen his stuff tick up from when he was a starter. So now you got, an elite characteristic fastball, good cutter, really good changeup with command that's ramped up stuff-wise, coupled with just a solid makeup person. Like, I mean, you see him, he doesn't take himself too seriously. He's got a real drive, funny sense of humor. But you watch him on the mound, he's super competitive too and likes the action and likes the fire. But when you have command and you walk out there with, 3 really good pitches, you got a shot.
We had 2 last ones. Jake. Oh, we can go John, then Jake.
For you guys to get like almost a week off the way it was, first game of the playoffs, and then to work the at-bats they did, to draw 8 walks, things like that, including a lot of the young guys in the lineup, what does that say to you moving forward through the rest of this thing?
Yeah. That was a game where, we could have scored double digits runs if we get the right big hit. But to score 6 runs where we didn't necessarily get that big hit all the time is a credit to the at-bat quality that we have. Like, I think some people out there think, well, they just walked 8. Like, well, crappy hitters don't walk 8 times. Like, that's a mindset, a talent, a skill. And I thought just a really good job of guys over and over taking really tough at-bats. We talk about that all the time. It's like, no matter what happens on a given night, because given night a pitcher might be on, we want to make it difficult on you. We want you to feel it. We want you to feel like, man, these guys aren't chasing. They're tough at bats, whatever. And I felt like up and down the lineup, we gave tough at bats. And on a night where we didn't necessarily get a ton of that or that back-breaking hit or whatever, we're able to throw up 6 runs because of the at-bat quality.
And we'll go to Jake just beyond Whitey Ford over there.
Carlos has been a lot better this year than he was a year ago, but the home run ball has still kind of been an Achilles heel for him, second most, tied for second most in the league this year. In your mind, what's the key for him to keep the ball in the yard tonight?
Like everyone, execution, getting it to where he wants. I feel like, his year, he got off to a really good start, obviously, then had a stretch of games where he struggled, rebounded really nicely. And I feel like in the month of September, he's throwing the ball really well. I feel like his changeup's become a really good pitch for him to go with his fastball slider. But as long as he's, he pitches up in the zone, and when you have a really good fastball and you pitch up in the zone, guys are going to sell out to that different times. That probably leads to, a higher home run total. But if he's executing and throwing strikes, we'll take our chances.
All right, Aaron, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Austin Wells.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
Custom Ink helps to celebrate and drive our students' achievements with custom gear. They love Custom Ink's different styles and designs. We love how Custom Ink makes the process simple with their easy-to-use design lab, expert artists ready to help, and unbeatable customer service. Custom Ink allows our kids to show everyone their accomplishments and the pride they have in our school. When we place an order, I know they got our back, so we can focus on the kids.
We make it easy to wow all your groups with high-quality custom apparel, accessories, and promo products, all backed by our guarantee at customink.com.
Switch to Square and join over 4 million businesses worldwide. Switch to fast setup and even faster checkouts. Switch to making every sale the way you want and the way they want, too. Switch to one system connecting every tool to every task, even as your business grows. Gain time and peace of mind with tools that bring everything together. Switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started.
What's cooking good looking? I am fixing up some family favorite recipes from Home Chef. Oh, that's right, and we are so excited to bring our family's favorite meals right to your house. Home Chef makes it easy for everybody.
Managing my credit card debt was overwhelming, and it just wasn't a good place to be. My name is Carter, and Upstart helped me get rid of that credit card debt with a personal loan. Checking my rate with Upstart was super quick, super easy. It took me a few minutes to get my pre-approval and to get my interest rate. I got my money the next day. To just have one due date a month and only paying one person made my life a lot easier. Super easy to the point that I referred my friends to come and get a loan with Upstart.
Easy online borrowing. Personal loans up to $50,000. Go to upstart.com.
There's a new side to Away. A side that's good looking and has all the features Away is known for. It's soft, not sensitive, but tougher than you might think. The wait is over.
Now arriving, soft side suitcases from Away.
It was a game day, so I had to wear my whole cheer attire.
It was a clumsy kiss. Like I had sweat beads coming down my face. If I could do it again, I probably would have had a sweat rag.
I would probably have it done at the beach.
Keeping your lips smooth since before you knew how to use them.
Do it again?
Yes.
Bet. Roll with us.
Class-leading safety features at every turn. The Hyundai Tucson.
Lease an all-wheel drive Tucson for $229 a month, or get 1.99% APR, or up to $1,250 bonus cash. Hurry in.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, Mel. Is now good for a quick catch-up on your plan?
Yes, now's great.
Has anything changed since we last spoke?
You know what? Yes, I'm thinking more long-term.
Great. We'll make that change to your plan and adjust as needed.
This helps a lot.
Bye, Mel.
Bye.
Make sense of your money with Citizens.
We got Nets.
Chris Sheeran back here for the Michael K. Show. This look at Daniel Jones and the Giants defense is brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. More specifically, Daniel Jones on the road, where he has definitely been more efficient, leading the Giants to over 22.5 points per game in their 3 road games so far, as opposed to a dismal 10.5 points in their 2 home contests. All 6 of Jones's touchdown passes have come away from MetLife as well, while all 3 of his interceptions have been enjoyed by the Giants faithful. New defensive coordinator Shane Bowen has his defense leading the league in sacks. The Giants are 2 better than one of the only 2 undefeated teams left in the league, the Minnesota Vikings. They're also in the top third of the league in total defense and points per game. The Giants play their only scheduled Sunday night game at home against the Bengals this weekend, starting a stretch of 7 of their next 9 games being at home, with one asterisk. One of those games is a quote-unquote home game in Munich, Germany.
Let's go. Instead, they made their pitcher freeze for 14 minutes. Now, it didn't hurt him. He was great in that game. But that's a bad look. That's a bad look for the Dodgers and a bad look for the Padres. They had a calm down Profar. Stop it. Get in your position. Let your pitcher pitch. It ended up being a blowout, but it wasn't a blowout then. It was 3-1.
No, but I will tell you, Profar got his later. Did you see that catch?
Oh, yeah.
And then didn't give away yet that he didn't catch the ball.
Yeah, that was earlier. That was in the first inning, I think.
But it was just him jumping. It was really just cool the way he did it. I mean, I find myself really rooting for the Padres. Padres are fun.
And that catch, by the way, the Dodgers were trying. Dodgers fans were desperate to pull a Jeffrey Mayer. He stole it from the fans.
That was a hell of a catch.
All right, moving along, your New York Liberty and my New York Liberty have advanced to the WNBA Finals. They took out the Las Vegas Aces, and they will sit and await a winner between Minnesota and Connecticut. And Thursday at Barclays Center, we are underway for your WNBA Finals.
So what would you, if it's Connecticut, is it the I-95 final? Or what do you want to call it?
It's a great point by you.
I don't know if Mohegan Sun you stay on 95, so it'd be tough.
But they're the Connecticut Sun, no matter how you cut it.
Sure.
I'm just trying to figure out something. It deserves something, doesn't it?
I mean, it is a local rivalry, right? I mean, it is Connecticut versus New York. The tri-state trip off.
Now, if it's the Minnesota team, well, we got to get on your friend Alex Rodriguez. You know, he owns, well, almost. He owns that team.
He owns the Lynx?
Yeah, he owns the Lynx and the Timberwolves.
It's part of the package.
Is that's not
still not settled though?
That's not for everybody. All right, let's talk Jets football for a moment, if you will. Robert Saleh on Aaron Rodgers' performance.
Obviously up and down. The biggest thing that we talked about going into this game was playing clean ball, and Minnesota had been feasting on pick sixes and putting their offense in position to get easy layups. Unfortunately, that pick six was a big difference in the game.
Usually
Not exactly
he
what you want.
completely shines up everything that Rodgers does. That's the first time I've ever heard him take a little bit of a shot.
Message to the fans after the 2-3 start?
It's early. We're 5 games in. Obviously, we'd like it to be a lot better, but it's early and we've got a long way to go.
Yeah, sure. Sounds great, pal. Let's hear from Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, man.
How you feeling, A-Raj, after that awkward fall?
Definitely banged up. I got my foot caught on a pile there, but it just seems to be a low ankle sprain. Again, they were trying to get me in the tent, and we had a rough in the kicker, and I said, screw it, I'm going back out there. There was a lot of things that made some noises on the way down.
Oof, that's not what you want to hear. Maybe the most interesting piece of audio I have here from the Jets, Quincy Williams on SNY.
Like I said, people got to start taking accountability, bro. People get tired of hearing the same thing every week.
For you, what do you need to work on?
I'm tired of saying the same thing every week. For me, I need to start working on being a leader more. That's the main thing.
No, the frustration starting to set in. I mean, I could talk all I want about it's still early. Saleh said the same thing, and the division's still winnable, can still make the playoffs, but it's hard to believe it's already week 5.
It's getting late early.
You got a tough game. You'll lose to the Bills, 2-4.
Not what you
Big
want.
Time trouble.
That is ENN, brought to you by Security Dodge. Shop 24/7 at securitydodge.com during their Jeep Adventure Days. It's short and to the point. You know what I mean? We hit the things that matter.
Really good.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Really outstanding.
Thank you. No, I really appreciate that.
We have the NFL yesterday coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll talk more football and baseball. The Knicks and the Nets are starting their exhibition play, kind of fun. Hockey's in full swing already, Don. The Devils dominating on the road.
2-0.
I mean, what are we talking about here?
Prague.
We can't give hockey a sniff. There's so much stuff going on.
It's hard. And preseason basketball's underway, for God's sake.
Michael just said you should listen.
Yeah,
it's a
sure
good show,
did.
really.
Well,
Don, why don't you tell us about BetMGM as Peter listens to tapes of the show?
Bombers are set for an epic October run.
Just outstanding.
And Yes is your Yankees postseason home.
This team is set up to go deep into October.
With enhanced pre- and post-game coverage around every playoff game, plus preview specials and exclusive player access.
We're excited to take our shot.
You followed the chase all season. Tonight, get set for a pivotal Game 2 against the Royals. Starts tonight at 6:30 on Yes and the Yes app.
The Michael K. Show on Yes is brought to you in part by Mezcal Campante. This season's must-drink Mezcal. Champions drink Campante.
Is it possible to be more capable and more practical? Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
I started having knee pain in my early 50s. I'm Phil Simms, pro football legend and TV analyst. My knee pain would wake me up during the middle of the night. It hurt me every time I played sports, if it was basketball, tennis, and even golf. I quit being active, and it got to a point where I want to be active, and that's why I'm sitting here today.
Arthritis Knee Pain Centers uses an image-guided procedure that allows them to place an all-natural cushioning gel directly into the affected joint, restoring mobility and relieving your pain without surgery or downtime.
I think what really surprised me is how easy it was and how there was no pain to the treatment.
It's covered by Medicare and most private insurance.
I have no pain. That's gone away, and I got to tell you, I feel great. I'm back to playing a little tennis. Played pickleball, which I said I would never do. Arthritis Knee Pain Centers, they relieve my pain and change my life.
Call Arthritis Knee Pain Centers now and schedule your no-charge, no-obligation knee pain screening. Call 800-823-3160.
Do you spend hours maintaining your gutters? Save that time with LeafGuard's maintenance-free system. Call 1-833-2-GUTTERS. Mesh filters sit on top of your gutters, building up debris and eventually clogging. Then they need to be cleaned too. Honestly, your home should have been built with LeafGuard gutters. LeafGuard's wraparound hood deflects debris and keeps water away from your home. The one-piece seamless system is strong, 20% thicker than average, and built to last. Plus, LeafGuard is guaranteed to never clog for as long as you own your home. Right now, get a complete LeafGuard system for only $99 down, $99 a month, and $99 installation. You'll also receive a $100 Visa gift card with a free gutter inspection and in-home estimate. Damage from clogged gutters can cost you thousands. Never worry about clogged gutters again. Don't wait, you've still got time. Call 1-833-2-GUTTERS today. That's 1-833-2-GUTTERS.
Visit linkedbylovetv.org to learn more about kidney disease, transplantation, and prevention. Get the facts, get checked, and get healthy.
Sports fan, what a time to be listening to this show every day from 3 to 6:30. It's glorious. It really is. It's the time of the year when there's so much stuff going on that you do have to kind of winnow it down and not really dive in as much as you'd like on every single topic. So let's set the buffet for you right now as you just got out of work, you're in the car, or you might be watching on Yes and you're relaxing on the couch.
On TV.
Jets go to London and lose. Jets are 2-3. Aaron Rodgers has not played well. He's played like a that's Tom Brady. And as Peter said 100 times, we all just thought, well, if Brady could do it, everybody could do it. Brady's a freak. Brady's a freak. He looks younger than his age. He plays younger than his age. And he is one of one.
Yeah, his idea of being healthy wasn't doing drugs and going into a hole. It was eating healthy and working out constantly.
Right, and never enjoying himself at all.
All due respect. Exactly.
Well, but there's outliers in everything, right? Not everybody could be Vince Carter. Not everybody can be Nolan Ryan. Not everybody could be Chris Chelios. There are some people that are built to play deep into their 40s, and there are some that they retire at 35. And he's obviously changed things by being a productive quarterback deep into his 30s and now at 40. But the last couple of games, guys, he has looked his age.
Well, shame on all of us, though. Shame on all of us, particularly the quote-unquote experts. We went gaga over the fact that he shredded the New England Patriots. Patriots are terrible. They're terrible. They lost to the Dolphins yesterday, by the way. A great pick by me. Terrible by Peter. I can't believe he took the Patriots as a three-point play. He should be out of the competition. Put the clown nose on now. What a terrible pick.
Clown show.
Why would you make that pick?
Hold on. First of all, calm down for a second. No, you got a lot of nerve. You picked Arizona last week. You picked Arizona over Washington. The Commies beat them by 30-some points.
I understand that was a terrible
the
pick.
Patriots were up.
You picked the worst team in football as your three-point play.
The Patriots were up for much of the game and had the ball late with a chance to win.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It turned out to be awful. They lost by 5 points, didn't they?
It wasn't nearly as bad as your Cardinals pick the week before.
Whatever.
Not even close.
But the Cardinals came back to beat the 49ers, didn't they?
Exactly.
The Cardinals came back to beat the 49ers and knocked Don out of the survivor pool.
Hold on, I understand, but what does that have to do with what you did?
Well, you had a terrible week. And by the way, your friend Ballard is cheating. He's 4-0 on the season now.
Well, how did he get 4-0, by the way, when his first time turning in picks was this week?
Because he had that other pick.
Jarv counted the other one from last week.
Jarv gave him Tennessee? Yeah. Okay.
Jarv's got access to our archives.
He really does the work. Now, listen, I'm in a bad spot right now. I'm not feeling good, but it's very early.
It's not that early. It's getting late early.
No, I mean, listen.
You're 5.5 points behind me, and you're 9 points behind Don.
We do what ends up being like 20 weeks of football.
We all end up being somewhat in the same area.
Yeah, I just got to put it. I just got to piece it together. I got to get my first 3-0 week. This was not a great week, but listen, I'd pick the Jets again.
Why? They
Joe
lost.
Do it as
they did. They
now,
did.
Let me ask Don. Don, why the Jets for a 3-point pick? Why would you depend on the Jets?
Because, listen, I obviously look foolish, but I'm seeing something about this Minnesota team that they're not as good as everybody's claiming to be over the last 3 weeks. And I ended up being right. It's just that the Jets got off to a really slow start. But I would have looked like a genius had Rodgers end up scoring that touchdown at the end of the game. And it was actually, it was working out. What I thought was going to happen was that the Jets were going to score a touchdown, leave just enough time for Minnesota to kick a field goal, win the game, but the Jets cover. So I thought I was actually feeling pretty good when they were driving down the field, and then it was just an awful pick. That's the thing. You just can't turn the ball over.
And if you think about it,
in that situation,
that right there, 3 minutes and change left in the game. You're down by 6. Mm-hmm. That's why you have Aaron Rodgers. That's the reason right there that you have that guy and you bring that guy to New York for that very drive, and then he throws a pick to not only lose the game, but lose Don 3 points.
And the thing, well, that's okay because you guys lost your 3-pointers too. So I still went 2-1, which I'll take.
I went 2-1 too.
But after that Patriot game, and I think we were logical on the show. Hey, it's the Patriots, but you had to throw your flowers. He had a tremendous game, and the arm looked good, and he just seemed like the smartest guy on the field, and all those things still exist. But the thing out of the Patriot game was, well, this is why you have Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be the difference maker. He's going to be able to make up for the lack of coaching. This is what happens when you have a great quarterback. And that's why you're absolutely right. On that drive, that's supposed to be the difference maker. That's supposed to be a game you win because you have Aaron Rodgers. And let's be honest, you lost the game because of Aaron Rodgers. Yes, they got off to a slow start, but the defense only allowed 13 points. Remember, 7 of those points came off the pick 6. Mm-hmm. So the defense did its job. Who didn't do his job is Aaron Rodgers. I mean, yeah, some of the stats were, gaudy, 244 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 3 picks. 29 of 54. I mean, you're throwing the ball 54 times. I'm sorry. Why? I understand the running game's not there, but to just completely abandon it, find some way to be able to create something. If they know Rodgers is going to throw, and if the offensive line is not going to protect the way it's supposed to, it's a recipe for disaster, guys. I mean, I'm not here to defend Aaron Rodgers, but at 40 years old, getting pummeled the way he was, throwing the ball 54 times, you got to find another way to be able to create some offense. I'm sorry.
There are a lot of problems with this team, and there are problems with Aaron Rodgers. Is it bad? Am I a bad guy that sometimes guys, when they keep talking about back shoulder, he's going back shoulder? I'm like, are they back shoulder passes, or is he just missing
I've always wondered that, Peter, about everybody. Because in the old days, back shoulder passes, wow, he really underthrew that.
No, like, listen, in the case of Rodgers, at times I know it's design, of course, and you can see the receiver knows it's coming. At other times, I'm like Michael, you could have argued that the last ball was an attempt at that. It was just an awful throw to the defense.
Now let's go to the Giants. What a nice win. They won by 9 points in one of the toughest places to play in any professional sport. The place is deafening, the 12th man, the whole deal. They did it without Singletary. They did it without Neighbors. An unbelievable game by Slayton, and Danny Jones actually played well. And the Giant defense, 7 sacks, 22 on the season, leads the NFL, and they do it with their front line, too. They don't have the blitz to get to the quarterback. They're going to be a load for any team to play. I mean, against great teams, might they get slapped around? Yeah, maybe. But the bottom line is they're not getting slapped around. The only one that got slapped around was by the Vikings, and that has aged well. If they had a kicker, there was a chance they could have beaten Washington. And the fact that Washington played so great since that game, the fact that they held Washington to field goals, that's something to look at the Giants, who now, by the way, with all the negative publicity, all the dire predictions, they have the same record as the Aaron Rodgers Jets, both 2-3.
And Daniel Jones just continues to be steady. He's never going to be great, but what is this now? 3 straight really good games for him. The offensive line's did a decent job. He got sacked 3 times, but what I saw out of him, and you're starting to see it more and more, is a little bit confidence with that knee, using his ability to run as a weapon. And with no Neighbors, you were able to target other players and open things up a little bit more. So the offensive line playing well. You mentioned the defensive line getting 7 sacks. They don't have to blitz to put pressure on the quarterback. There's a lot of things that are good here. And now I don't think where's it going to go? I mean, those losses to Dallas and to Washington are going to hurt them for tiebreakers, and I don't think they're a playoff team, Michael. But every Sunday, they're going to put themselves in a position to win a game. If you can win in Seattle, there's no reason why you can't win in Dallas or Philadelphia or other play. Philadelphia's no great team. Dallas, I still don't think is a great team. So go out there and just continue to play the way you're playing. It may not be enough, but at least you have confidence in your coaching. You have confidence in some of the talent that's here. The big question will be, as time goes on, can Daniel Jones play his way into another season in this contract? I don't see how, but it's moving in that direction, isn't it? What if he just continues to put up numbers, not good enough to win, but can you look at yourself and say, for $40 million, if he continues to move forward, can we make it work another year and then take less of a cap hit in the 4th year, and maybe something opens up to get another quarterback someplace else? Can you go that direction?
This is where you have to let the football be played, because the first 2 weeks, I think you say the idea of more Daniel Jones is the most insane and awful thought any Giants fan can imagine. And many would still feel that way right now. But if the year keeps going and they kind of beat the teams that they're supposed to beat and maybe then win a couple more, maybe it's a conversation you have. I still think we'll end up landing on he's just not good enough. I mean, look at what's happening in Washington, guys.
Right.
Yeah, I gave you the whole thing about the culture and the changes with the GM and the ownership, whatever. But what's the biggest reason for the change? And they found an absolute star at quarterback. That's how this works.
Now, if things continue to go the way they're going, and again, it could completely go south against Cincinnati on Sunday night, he's thrown for over 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So just like doing the quick math, you're talking about 3,500 yards, 21 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Probably not enough, but not embarrassing.
But that's him.
But that's him. Right?
That's the same.
I think that's the ceiling, right? If I were to tell you Daniel Jones is going to throw for close to 4,000 yards, north of 20 touchdowns, single-digit interceptions, you'll say, all right, that's the best Daniel Jones can be.
If he wants to make it hard on ownership and everybody else, he throws for 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. Now we're having like a conversation where you go, oh, I didn't know he had this level.
No.
Now, Michael, also interesting, we talked about how the Giants' losses are aging well. Mm-hmm. It's funny because the Jets' wins are aging horribly. Yep. Tennessee stinks. Okay,
they were handed that win, right?
They were exactly. Tennessee stinks, and they play them with Levis, and the Patriots are god awful. Remember, everyone on ESPN, the Patriots are harder than you think. No, they're garbage. They just lost to Miami, who borderline is not even a football team anymore. So it is not what you want in terms of how things look for the Jets.
But if you want to play positive, 2 of their 3 losses have come out of conference. They are only a game back of Buffalo. If they can beat them at MetLife Stadium Monday Night Football, they are tied for first place. Have the tiebreaker. Right? They would already have a win against the Patriots, win against the Bills if they can win. So in the division, they'd be 2-0. Like, things still are there for them. They did not bury themselves at all. And really, who's great in this conference? I think Baltimore will be great. You're starting to see that they're figuring it out. We'll see what happens with Kansas City tonight in Monday Night Football. They can be 5-0 and still not overly impressive. You look at the NFC, I think Minnesota's got holes. They're 5-0. So I don't see the Jets putting themselves in championship form, but could they still win the playoffs? Could they still win this division? It's possible. And could also somebody explain to me, when the side of your helmet literally bounces on the turf, how is Allen not in concussion protocol after that? He's getting smelling salts on the sideline.
Yeah, it's a bad look.
Well, what is going on?
Football Monday brought to you by Infinity. Experience the Infinity lineup at your Tri-State retailer today. The Mets split 2 in Philadelphia, 2 really memorable games. Yesterday, they stormed back again. I think my son has a little bit of a Nostradamus feel to him. He's sitting there watching the game with me, and Vientos is up. He said, Vientos going to hit a home run, tie the game. And I looked at him, I said, what? He goes, and then the Phillies will walk it off in the 9th. That's exactly what happened. And then we're watching the Dodger game. He said, my pick to click is Jackson Merrill will have a big game. And he did. So I'm going to get betting advice from my son from now on.
You should.
Yeah, why not?
How awesome is it, Michael, to just... Charlie's a little bit older, but Marco's going to be 7 in December, and just starting to get into it. Like Vientos home run, he's jumping up and down. He's totally in, because I can't get him in the football because he doesn't fully understand it. It's over his head, and he also doesn't play it, so he doesn't. But baseball, he's playing it. And so he can relate to what's happening there. So he is fully invested. And I feel like I'm going through my fandom all over again.
That's great.
Just watching it through his eyes. It's really a cool thing. We'll see if what sticks as he gets older. But right now, he was even watching Dodgers and Padres and just totally,
he's in.
Just totally into these games.
Now, this is very interesting, too. He's watching us on Yes right now. We have Marco. He's on line 3. He's now a 75-year-old man. All he watches is old-timey baseball.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's what baseball's got to just find, that wheelhouse of being able to. They have the 0 to 6, and they've got the 70 to 100. They've got to try to find.
That's the middle
where
ground.
you go from 7 to 70. Just try to find that. Then they'll be
going on right now. Tigers and the Guardians. Guardians lead that series 1-0. Beat up on them 7-0. But today they have Tarek Skubal going, so they're in the top of the 5th inning, 0-0, and Skubal is pitching a no-hitter, and he's got that sort of stuff, so don't be surprised if he spins one like that. Tonight, Royals against the Yankees. It's Cole Reagans, 11-9, 3.14. He's the lefty against the Yankee lefty Carlos Rodon, 16-9, 3.96. The big news with that is that John Birdie is playing first base for the first time in his professional career, never in the minors, never in the majors. Couple of games in spring training about 4 years ago. So the Yankees, obviously have to create stuff without Anthony Rizzo, with Rizzo being on the IL. Cabrera did a good job in game 1 against the left-hander. They go with John Birdie. It's kind of an unusual take, though, there, Don and Peter, because Cole Reagans is a reverse split guy, which means he's tougher on righties than he is on lefties. So if you're really going to live by the numbers, the guy to start then would have been Ben Rice. So John Birdie starts instead, and he's supposedly tougher. Not supposedly, he is. His numbers tell you he's tougher on right-handed batters than he is on lefties. Verdugo again in left field. One quick thing.
Right.
That game 1, guys, I don't know if you thought this, really bad for overreacting fans. Really, really bad. Verdugo had to be excommunicated from the church and left off the postseason roster. Yankees started him in left field. He made 2 really good plays, and he got the game-winning hit. Clay Holmes shouldn't even be on the roster. Shouldn't be nowhere near a close game. Shouldn't be having any high leverage situation. Comes in, and you could actually say that his inning plus might have saved the game. How good he was.
Yeah. There was so much going on just that. The Chisholm, whether he's out or safe, and John Boy had a great breakdown of that. The Freeman steal. How about him stealing with a bad leg? And then the pickoff in the Met Philly game on Saturday. You can make the case that the Major League Baseball was 0 for 3 in replay.
Yeah, I thought Chisholm was out.
In two of the games, the announcers are like, they got it wrong. Darling just said, I got it wrong. And the Yankee fans will flip out, well, he's a Met guy. No, listen, Darling's outstanding at what he does. He's not going to say anything other than that's how he felt. And you even said it. When John Boy was breaking it down, he said it. Like they caught a breakdown. I don't know what they saw. I guess they went with it was unconclusive or inconclusive.
Yeah, I think that was it.
But, God, you can make the case they were 0 for 3 in replay on Saturday.
All right, let's go to some phones. We have the NFL yesterday coming up. Is that 5:45 or 5:30?
5:45
vehicle, yes.
That's right. Yeah, sure.
Let's go to Charlie in Queens. Charlie.
Hey, guys. Good show.
Thanks, man.
What's up?
So, like, quote-unquote, the Saturday Yankee game was they got by one.
Yes.
Because Judge, like, 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts. Like, I mean, that first at-bat was, it set the bad tone, and he needs to get out of it very quickly because Soto showed up. Cole was, getting missiled around. And this team played like a D-, C+ game. But, hey, October, it's playoff time. You can't be sorry about winning playoff games right at this point. But this team can play better. And, like, right now, this team is like, it's like you cannot be stunned by when this team lose or, like, lose, like, surprisingly or, like, this team's a Jekyll and Hyde team. And I feel like they have to show us, like, this team can beat it. And, I mean, if the Yankees be able to hit this series, I mean, they shouldn't have a problem. But I'm having a hard time, like, trepidating myself, believing the team. But you know what? Hey, this team got to get it done. This team has no excuses not to go to the World Series.
You know what, Charlie? I've been saying that as well. Once the Orioles and the Astros are eliminated, the road is clear for the Yankees to get to the World Series. If they don't, it's on them. Not on Aaron Boone. Not on Brian Cashman. It's on them.
Hey.
They have a better team than the other teams that are left in the playoffs. They just do. Sorry.
There are no style points. Just win the game. All right, I understand that you're going to hold the Yankees to a different standard, and it's the Royals, and you should sweep them and win every game 10-0. I get it, but in the postseason, watching how these games are played, Michael, just get the win. All right, well, would you rather play great and lose, or play lousy and win? Just win, especially in a best of 5. So yeah, they dodged a bit of a bullet. They could have very easily lost that game. They didn't. So there are no style points. Even these Met games, Michael. I mean, listen, they've won these games. Have they played perfect? Has everything gone exactly the way? No, but they won the games they did. They got bit yesterday, but they got the split. Move on, man. It's survive and advance. There's no judge. Nobody's gonna be holding up a card with a number on it. Just get the damn win and move on. That's all it should ever be.
Let's go to Bruce in Flushing. Bruce.
Hey guys, Michael, I'm first guessing, not second guessing on my next 2 points. Number one, Birdie. First career start at first base. You don't experiment in the playoffs. Cabrera showed he could dig balls out of the dirt with Daz and Torres in the infield. You know some throws are going to be in the dirt. Why would you go away from Cabrera, who showed he can play first base, to go to Birdie, who you have no idea if he can play first base? Second point, I saw a report that Schmidt is pitching the third game. Why would you have Schmidt as a starter? His experience is in the bullpen. Heel has never pitched in the bullpen. Plus, if you notice, his first innings are always worse than the second and third inning. So that doesn't make sense to me also, your comments.
Well, let's put it this way. He didn't give a real clear answer why it was Schmidt. I just think they feel more comfortable with Schmidt. They think Schmidt right now is pitching better than Heel. That's number one. I don't think that they made this move so that Heel's going to be pitching out of the bullpen. I think if Heel is pitching out of the bullpen, it's going to be in a mop-up role if the Yankees if Schmidt gives up 5 runs or if Rodon gives up 5 runs early, then Schmidt will lead up innings because they only have an 11-man bullpen right now or 11-man pitching staff, not 12. The other thing with Birdie, I mean, you're talking about Oswaldo Cabrera like he's a combination of Teixeira, Martinez, and Mattingly. They're experimenting with him at first base, too. All 3 guys that could play first base, it's an experiment. It's an experiment. Cabrera is an experiment. He's not a first baseman. Birdie is an outstanding corner infielder. He should be able to play first, but it's an experiment. Ben Rice is a catcher. It's an experiment. Listen, Yankee fans, I can't believe that the Yankees have to experiment at first base in the postseason. Tell me one team that loses a top-flight platinum glove first baseman and has a like player on the bench. It doesn't happen. You don't carry backup first baseman. You just don't. You carry backup middle infielders that can move around. So I understand you being a little, uncomfortable with the fact that Cabrera had a good game at first base. But that was an experiment, Bruce. It was an experiment, just like John Birdie is an experiment. They're going to have to keep experimenting around first base. Sorry, no Rizzo. You're going to have to try something different every single time. More of your phone calls about football, baseball, the whole deal. NFL yesterday coming up at the 5:45 mark. Stay right here on Yes and 880 ESPN.
So, there's this guy, Paul Rivera, grew up in the Bronx. As a kid, he made some mistakes, but right out of high school, he joins the Army. Does construction and HVAC his whole life. Paul Rivera's a guy who can say,
I love my life. I've done everything right. So, where's the rub?
Well, he gets pulmonary fibrosis, and the only hope is a lung transplant. Poor guy's close to curtains. When out of the blue, one hospital, Montefiore Einstein, hears about his case, takes it on. Well, not only does our friend get a new lung, he gets a whole new life. He keeps getting stronger. Everyone in his neighborhood is like,
they give that guy a new lung or a new motor.
Paul Rivera made the most of his second chance. He's a good egg. Unlike you, derelicts.
The story, Mr. Giamatti.
Well, you ought to know, Mr. Rivera. You lived it. Sharp hat.
Your memory is an amazing thing, but sometimes it can start to slow down. But did you know Prevagen can help keep your memory sharp? The secret is the powerful ingredient apoaquarin, originally discovered in jellyfish and found only in Prevagen. In a clinical study, Prevagen was shown to improve memory in subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired. Stay sharp and improve your memory with Prevagen. Prevagen, in stores everywhere without a prescription.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Yes is your Yankees home for the ALDS. Pre-game, post-game, around every game. Tonight, get set for a pivotal Game 2 against the Royals.
The stars need to be stars.
Then come back for post-game reaction after the final out. Starts tonight at 6:30 on Yes and the Yes app.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. Innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions. Telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready? Explore teaching at teach.org.
All right, boys, who we betting on?
However you bet, whoever you are, the sports book for every kind of player. Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
If you're an asbestos victim, pay close attention. Billions of dollars are being paid out to people like you. We should know. We're Whites & Luxembourg, the law firm that already won over $9 billion for men and women just like you. That's right, over $9 billion for mesothelioma sufferers and their families. We know you're short of money, and we know you're short of time, so we fight hard. Call Whites & Luxembourg at 917-LAWYERS. That's 917-LAWYERS. Whites & Luxembourg, winning big for the little guy.
Whoa, if you want my 2 cents on interest rates, we got options.
My 2 cents. This one's priced to sell. My 2 cents? My 2 cents?
My 2 cents?
My 2 cents?
My 2 cents?
Here's my 2 cents. I'm planning for the future. Interest plus interest equals more interest. Come on, you gonna drink that?
Hi, Joan. Perfect timing. I have a few questions.
Of course. Let's look at your plan.
We got Nets.
I have sickle cell. I've had lots and lots of blood transfusions over my lifetime. I'm most grateful that people are willing to go out there and take their time, their blood, and give me new life.
Guardians and the Tigers, 0-0. That game's in Cleveland. Guardians lead 1-0 later tonight. And by the way, surprising, the Yankees and the Royals will be right here on 880 ESPN. We'll have a broadcast of that.
That's right, the national feed, if you're interested.
Love that. And tomorrow, we'll have the Met game on. And that whole series is going to be called by Boog Shambi.
Oh,
and we're gonna have Boog on tomorrow as well to set the table for us.
We love the Boog.
Now we are going to bring in a good friend of ours, a good friend of the show, the brilliant Hank Azaria, and he joins us now. Hank, how you doing?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Good. How do you feel about
terrific.
that? It's his birthday today.
It's your birthday?
Didn't you just say happy birthday?
It's not my birthday, no.
No.
What did Don shout out then?
What did I say? I didn't shout out anything. I said hello.
Michael, you all right? Let's start over again. Pretend that never
it's
happened.
bad.
Hank Azaria, ladies and gentlemen.
So take 2, right, Hank?
I guess so, yeah. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary, guys. So, first of all, I decided to take you up on calling it again because it was so much fun last time.
There you go.
And you mentioned Boog Shambi. One thing, the game where Pete Alonso fell over the bat, okay? I thought, and I'm not jumping on the bandwagon of, I know they even mentioned it. Every hometown fan gets upset with the national coverage because they think they're rooting against their team. But don't you think they didn't make enough of that moment? I have never seen anything like that before in a game, not even my son's Little League game, let alone to cost you a run in a playoff game. Didn't you think they sort of underplayed that?
I got to be honest. I wasn't listening to the radio broadcast of it. I saw it on the television, so I'm not quite sure how they played it.
It was the television I'm talking.
Yeah.
No, they just kind of went, well, you got to be careful of that bat, huh? And that's pretty much all they said about it. I just thought they didn't make enough of that.
I just think Glanville just felt bad for him. And then that's how that was the state of Pete at that point, right? You had that moment, then you go to game 3 where he misses the foul pop-up. It just like he was in the worst headspace possible. And you almost felt bad for him, which just made what ended up happening at the end of Game 3 so much sweeter.
Agreed. Yes, you could tell they were kind of soft-pedaling it for, a little bit. But I just thought, like, you got to say, can you imagine what Gary, Keith, and Ron would have said about that? They definitely would not have been as kind about it.
Probably.
Now, how did you feel from yesterday? I mean, what was your emotions yesterday?
I mean, another roller coaster. I swear, I have real anxiety attacks watching these games. I mean, but in a really kind of good way. I mean, it's very exciting, and I'm kind of proud of this team. Like they're so scrappy. I mean, I know they didn't win that one yesterday, but so much heart. And that's like, I always watch other teams in the postseason saying, why can't we be in the mix like that? And it's really a thrill to see these guys playing so hard and playing so well.
Hank, you know what I don't get from fans, and like people that I know, I'd rather lose the game 10-0 than go through that roller coaster. And I'm like, why? You lose the game 10-0. It's like, well, that's really humbling. But we were really off to know that they still had that fight. All right, it didn't work out, but to know that they can do what they did with that Vientos home run and Alonso getting another home run, I think these things are all connected. So, no, I would rather lose the way they did yesterday than get blown out.
I agree, not to mention how entertaining it is and just how much fun it is to watch any two teams doing that, let alone your guys. Can we talk about the Jets a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Is that all right?
Yeah, please.
Did I lose you?
No. Where are you?
Oops. Hello?
The Jets haven't lost you, so we didn't lose.
Are you guys there? Can you hear me now?
No, sure.
Can we talk about
Oh, Hank's got bad reception. Hank, we're going to have to catch you later.
Shot of Anthony.
Wow.
It's he's bad reception. Yeah, that's the problem with the Jets yesterday.
The problem with the Jets and the phone call.
Throwing the ball to the wrong team, that was the problem. So,
you know what?
God, what torture, Mets and Jets.
While we wait on Hank, let's go to Richard in Manhattan. That should clear things up.
This is
an interesting way to go.
Fellas, Michael, Don, Peter, amongst these six, who got the most redemption in the last few days? Daniel Jones, Pete Alonso, Clay Holmes, Gleyber Torres, Alex Verdugo, Garrett Wilson. Who out of those six got the most redemption?
You know what, Michael? I might say Verdugo, just because he was so hammered by these fans, and that was a big game on Saturday. So just the way he was hammered and the kind of season that he had, I might go that one. What about you,
I would say it's a toss between Verdugo. What Garrett Wilson? What redemption did he have?
He had a good game.
Okay, but I mean, redemption does he? I mean, I think it's Verdugo. Or thank you, Richard. As Richard would say, Verdugo. And then Holmes.
I so want to ask him why.
Yeah, this is a medical man. He can't pronounce Verdugo.
But why? But why in this case it's spelled straightforward?
Yeah, Verdugo.
Why is he saying the G is an H? I need to know.
Well, another reason we look forward to him calling tomorrow because we can question him on it.
Yeah, we'll find
out. Now we have Frank Azera, better cell zone. Maybe Pater's Bill, not quite sure. Hank, you asked us if we wanted to talk Jets. Go for it.
Yeah, how did you feel? I haven't heard anything you said yet today about the Jets. How did you feel about that? Do you think, are they just not a good team? Is the offense just not firing right now? I just feel like, I don't feel the Vikings are, but I feel like Aaron's not going to have that bad a game very typically. I was like strangely semi-encouraged because I thought they were going to get beat worse by the Vikings. What do you feel?
Well, the thing that I would push back on here, Hank, is why do we think he won't have games like that again? Like, that's what I've been on the whole time. Like, yes, the Aaron Rodgers of 2014 won't, but I don't know who this Aaron Rodgers is at 41 years old. I think there's a chance this is it.
Yeah, you may be right. Maybe I'm being strangely optimistic as a Jets, Mets, Knicks fan, but I don't think I think that was like an outlier. I don't think he's going to throw 3 picks and a pick 6 like that. Those are 10 points.
Well, yeah, that was especially bad. The question I have, Hank, there are so many other parts that are not good about this team, though. How about Sauce Gardner dropping an interception in the end zone that changes the game?
Well, we're gonna have to thank Hank for the day because we have the NFL yesterday coming up and he has a bad cell zone. Listen, you can't be encouraged off yesterday because for 2 games in a row they have not protected their quarterback.
And this is the difference between, I think, he and I think Peter too, because we both had the Jets, is that I didn't go in thinking that was an unwinnable game. If you went in thinking, oh, big bad Vikings, I just want to hang with the best team in the NFL, then I guess you could see value by the way they played. I didn't feel that way about the Vikings. I thought they were beatable. They had bad seconds half the previous 2 weeks. Darnold seems to be kind of coming back to earth a bit. I like the Jets, so I'm disappointed by it. I thought that was a winnable game. It's kind of like Giants and Cowboys the week before, where everybody wants to praise the Giants for hanging with the big bad Cowboys. I think the Giants missed an opportunity to beat a beatable team. I think the Jets, if they play their game, I think they win that game by a couple of touchdowns. I think they were that much better than Minnesota. They just didn't work out at the end of the game.
Let's go to Anthony in the car. Anthony.
Hey, fellas. How you doing
Good.
today?
How are you?
Hey, buddy.
Great. I had 2 questions about the MLB and the NFL, but just follow me with this Richard comp, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Please.
You're a bank robber, right? And you get away with the perfect robbery. Millions and millions of dollars they empty the bank with.
Right.
And you're texting and driving texting your buddies, I just got all this money. And you ram into those big poles in the front of the bank.
Right.
That they put up from underground, and you just smash into it. That's the Richard comp when you take his phone call.
Well, that's come on.
But every now and then, though, Anthony, you do get away with the $1 million. He gives you a decent call.
Verdugo is pretty funny.
Thank
Verdugo is funny. I will take that.
I'm telling you right now, Anthony, I think Richard's phone calls are worth it every day because I generally think they're either good or terrible. He rarely has just like that last call was actually mediocre. He's generally not mediocre. He's good or bad, which for radio purposes is all you want from every phone call.
They hung up on Anthony before he could have his the MLB point. By the way, pet peeve of mine. It's not the
What's
MLB.
that?
It's Major League Baseball.
It's MLB.
Or MLB.
But hold on now.
Well, it's the NFL. It's not the MLB.
Well, where do you fall on RBIs and RBIs? But that doesn't make any sense, and you're a man who cares about words.
First of all, an RBI is a singular thing.
But no, runs batted in.
Yeah.
It's not run batted in.
The abbreviation is RBI. So if you have 3 of them, you have 3 RBIs.
Then you have runs batted in.
Why can't it be the MLB?
Because it's not. It's not the Major League Baseball.
But you see what I'm saying?
It is the National Football League. It's the National Basketball
Association. It is the NHL.
Yeah, because it's the national. It's not the major.
No. It's because it's the association and the league.
No. That's not it. It's the word.
Not the baseball.
It's the National Football League, the National Basketball Association, the National Hockey League. It's not the MLB.
No, hold on. I agree with you, but for a different reason. It's the last word that determines that, not the first one.
No, because it's the NFL.
The Football League.
And
the NBA. The association.
Oh, okay.
The NHL. The league. Major League Baseball. It can't be the baseball. But Michael, I'm right on this one. It's the last word, not the first. No, it's not. It's the last.
You might both be right.
We might be. It really doesn't matter.
We're
truly fighting over nothing.
But here's my thing, is that you need to say NBA, because you can't say basketball because there's major college basketball.
Sure.
And you can't say football because there's major college football. You can get away with saying hockey and baseball because what else are you going to be talking about?
I'm a big AHL guy. All I talk about.
Not most people.
Well, I'm special.
And the same thing with, I want to call about the Somerset Patriots. Right? So baseball and hockey should be enough, but you need the different leagues. It's interesting. I don't know why we spend as much time on it, but that's what this show is. We break down the unbreakable.
The minutia. Anyway, bottom of the 6th inning, 0-0 Tigers Guardians, but when we come back, it is time.
Oh, yeah.
It is time.
Oh, yeah. Fired
for
up.
the NFL yesterday. Please stay with us for that right here on Yes and 880 ESPN.
The Michael Kay Show on Yes is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more.
This is you, and this is your lingering hunch.
The Browns look riveting, Gary.
The kind that just sort of hangs around.
Their defense, unstoppable.
But with FanDuel, this hunch won't linger much longer. Because FanDuel's profit boosts every NFL game day will reward you when you're ready to act.
Go Browns, Browns, Browns.
So you won't let any hunch go to waste and make every moment more.
All customers get a profit boost every NFL game day from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Untuck It makes every guy look better. From tall to short, from big to slim. From our iconic button-downs for all shapes and sizes to a whole lot more. Try us today. Untuck It. We just make guys look better. Oh, and we make great styles for her, too. Find the perfect fit at untuckit.com in more than 80 stores worldwide.
Your memory is an amazing thing, but sometimes it can start to slow down. But did you know Prevagen can help keep your memory sharp? The secret is the powerful ingredient apoaquarin, originally discovered in jellyfish and found only in Prevagen. In a clinical study, Prevagen was shown to improve memory in subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired. Stay sharp and improve your memory with Prevagen. Prevagen, in stores everywhere without a prescription.
We got nets.
Half of young adults are at risk of hearing damage from loud sounds. So why is this happening? We know not to bake in the sun for hours and to get our eyes checked regularly. We buckle up to save lives. And we know that smoking kills. So do poor diet choices and poor life choices. But why are we so reckless with our hearing? We take hearing for granted. Hearing damage from loud sounds is permanent, but preventable. We take common sense steps for our health every day. Let's make hearing part of it. Wear earplugs. Turn it down. Give your ears a rest. Love your ears. Learn more at hearinghealthfoundation.org. Keep listening.
It's fall in New York State, and you have to see it. Plan the perfect trip, or just jump in the car. Either way, it's going to be breathtaking. It's going to be an adventure you'll never forget. It's what makes it easy to love New York. Start your getaway at iloveny.com.
They say post it or it didn't happen. But out here, in the places we were made for, you'll have to take our word for it. Find somewhere the internet's never been. With the family of Broncos designed to get you there.
Right now, lease a Ford Bronco for $379 a month for 36 months. Only at your local Ford stores.
Get started today with RexMD.com.
You know why I love Halloween?
Why?
People give me Kit Kats for free.
Son, you're 8. All your Kit Kats are free.
Happy Halloween! Have a break, have a Kit Kat.
Let's go, yeah. The Bombers are set for an epic October run.
Just outstanding.
And yes is your Yankees postseason home.
This team is set up to go deep into October.
With enhanced pre- and post-game coverage around every playoff game, plus preview specials and exclusive player access.
We're excited to take our shot.
You followed the chase all season. Tonight, get set for a pivotal Game 2 against the Royals. Starts tonight at 6:30 on Yes and the Yes app.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
The NFL yesterday.
No, I hear what you're saying, Don. Don and I are having a little chat
About
here
what?
off the air. Oh, perfect, Michael, that you asked. It's about football.
Yeah, and there's plenty of football in this
They're
thing.
playing football. What we were specifically talking about was what is happening in Washington. Is it more the ownership change, or is it the fact that Jaden Daniels has done it again? 4-game winning streak now. 4-1. The Commanders roll 34-13 on Cleveland.
Wait, so nobody can think it's the ownership change. I mean, if they had a hot quarterback, it wouldn't matter who the owner is.
The question is, how much does the ownership change trickle down to everything, including the decisions like on who you go get at quarterback? You know, and
I think right now it's the quarterback. Where it ends up going, I think will eventually be ownership. But
in this moment, what changes you as a team? I got to tell you guys, there's nothing weirder as a sports fan than being used to your team just being mediocre to bad for years and years. I mean, this is the first 4-1 start since 2008, okay? But when your team is playing this well and you're playing a terrible Cleveland team, like, I didn't know what to do, Michael. I came out of the half up 24-3. I'm like, who watches football games this way? What does this even feel like? I didn't even know what to do with myself.
What did you do with yourself?
Natalie was very into it. She's very in on Jaden Daniels. So we were having a great time. She was actually locked in. But then I had some
Jeter?
lunch.
Is he Sky Rizzy? Is that what he is?
Sky Rizzy.
Sky Rizzy is not the...
It's a thing, but not...
What's the word she uses?
Jeter is still giving Zaddy.
Oh, Zaddy.
But A-Rod's not
Sky
giving.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that.
Zaddy?
Zaddy.
Yeah.
Zaddy. Yeah, no. He doesn't give that, but she just thinks he looks like a sweet, wonderful young man.
Sky Rizzy, I don't understand these commercials. I've never gone to a doctor and said, I saw a commercial. Can I take that?
I want to know the people that do that.
I want the doctor to tell me.
And I want the doctor to say, you know what, you're right. I haven't seen that commercial, but that's what we're going to give you. We're going to give you Sky Rizzy.
Yeah, we do have to. That's probably a deeper conversation about our country and the fact they advertise drugs on TV. But whatever.
This one says I won't get hot dog fingers, so that's good.
Oh, well, and the ones that do, that's not what you want. Let's go to Baltimore, where I'll be going next week for the big Ravens-Commanders game. But yesterday, it was all about the Ravens and Bengals. The Ravens beat the Bengals. What a frustrating game if you're a Bengals fan. They needed to win so badly, and they almost got it. But 41-38 in overtime, marking the highest scoring game in the all-time series between the two. Let's go to WBAL in Baltimore.
Justin Tucker from 24 yards to win it. Tucker's kick is up. It is good! And the Ravens have won in overtime in Cincinnati. Overtime is over. The hay's in the barn. And the Ravens have defeated the Bengals in the wildest of ways.
And then the Bengals kicker, who's great, misses a field goal before that.
Yeah. Well, now so what a bizarre way for the game to end. Lamar Jackson fumbles a snap on Baltimore's opening possession in OT. But the Bengals kicker, Evan McPherson, kicked one of the worst field goals I've ever seen. Wide left. Whatever. It was horrifying. The whole thing looked really bad. And then on the next drive, Derrick Henry did Derrick Henry things. I mean, there are like players who late in their career go make that move, and it's kind of like the beginning of the end. And then there's things like what's happening with Derrick Henry, where he's now just Derrick Henry on the Ravens.
Right.
Which is something you couldn't afford to have happen if you're another team in the AFC North. As for Joe Burrow, he just says the Bengals are not good enough.
We're not a championship level team right now. We're not. I like to think that, we'll come back and improve throughout the season to get to that point, but right now we are not, and we have to get better.
The Texans survive a late rally by Josh Allen and the Bills, and they win 23-20 in overtime on a 59-yard field goal. Let's hear our friend Steve Levy on ESPN Radio.
With the game in the balance, snap, place, kick on the way. From 59, it is good. With zeros on the game clock. That's how the Houston Texans win, and they do so in regulation.
Now, this Fairbairn he's got just an unbelievable leg, which really put, I thought, Buffalo in a tough spot. They got the ball at their own 5-yard line with, 40 seconds to go. They've got no timeouts. Houston's got all of their timeouts. So the feeling is just run the ball, force the Texans to use their timeouts, and then punt the ball. But the thing is if you don't gain any yards, you're giving them midfield. They're going to try the field goal. He kicked a 59-yarder, would have been good from 70. So Buffalo threw the ball 3 times, 3 incompletions. They lose the game. But I think they were caught betwixt and between, Michael. Like, what do you do there?
Sorry. Sean McDermott may disagree with you, Don. He takes this on himself.
Just not enough in the end, and, that's on me. The end of game situation on offense, we needed to
to a tough situation, 3 timeouts. They were holding 3 timeouts. I got a good field goal kicker. We needed to run the clock and move the chains, and that's on me. We didn't do that there, and that's my fault.
Michael, my point was, why don't they run it the first 2 times, then run play action on 3rd down if you want to try to throw it?
At least use 2 of their timeouts.
At least, and maybe you luck into a break and you catch a first down before that.
All it would have, they needed a first down. I think he was being critical of his play calling, that maybe they could have tried something more high percentage just to move the chains. All they needed was 1 first down. First couple of those plays were like bombs down the sidelines. I think he was criticizing his play calling. Guys, if you run the ball and say you gain like 5 yards and they're out of timeouts, there's still going to be 30 seconds. There's still going to be time for them to run. They ran 1 play, called timeout, kicked the 59-yard field goal. Really, what would have been the difference, guys? It really wasn't about timeouts or time. It was just where the Bills were on the field.
But it would also impact the play that they call, because if they didn't have the timeouts remaining, they couldn't call a play in the middle of the field because they wouldn't have had time to kick the field goal.
How much time, with 3 timeouts and 3 running plays, Michael, how much could they have really worked the clock?
Well, no, it might only been 10 seconds you take
you're
off.
Eliminating the timeout, which makes it more difficult to call the play to set up the field goal.
And imagine this. What if you actually ran the ball successfully for a few yards, so instead on 3rd down, you're throwing for a 3rd and 4 instead of 3rd and 10. So it changes everything. Guys, another spread over 7 points and another outright underdog winner. Let's go to 98.7.
I remember them.
In Arizona, where the Cardinals beat the 49ers in San Fran.
Snap to Purdy. Straight drop, back in trouble, hit, and the ball flutters far side, and Kaiser White with a diving interception to win the game at midfield. Purdy got hit, the ball fluttered, and Kaiser White caught up to it, pulled it in, and the Cardinals are going to get one in San Fran.
I mean, when you see these big lines, guys, you just got to stay away this year.
Well, it worked out last week. I went with the 49ers with a big number, and this wasn't even about the number. I just wanted them to win so that I can advance in the Survivor.
No.
But what is going on in the NFL, man?
It is wacky
I'm not as down on the Bengals being, 1-4? The whole league is topsy-turvy. They could still make the playoffs at 1-4.
No, they can still make the playoffs, but I don't know if the division's going to be in play. I think it really hurts you to dig that kind of a hole.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up, because let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Cowboys overcame 11 accepted penalties and 3 turnovers. I heard Ray Santiago this morning on DPH on Rothenberg. He still wasn't satisfied with the poor play, even though they got the W. Prescott throws a go-ahead touchdown. Let's hear it from 106.3 The Fan in Dallas.
For the ball game, 4th and goal. Prescott in the gun, snap is back. He has some time. He throws it in the end zone. It's a touchdown to Jalen Tolbert on the left side of the end zone, crossing in front of Deshaun Elliott with 20 seconds to play.
Dallas outgained Pittsburgh by 219 total yards, which is the Steelers' 4th worst yards differential in a game under Mike Tomlin. It's also the 4th latest go-ahead touchdown in regulation in Cowboys franchise history. Dak Prescott on the winning TD.
The play we ran is one of our most comfortable plays. That, and honestly, the play before that, throwing it to Tolbert low. It's a miss on my part. Was halfway in between running it up the middle and trying to throw it low before the safety came back, and just wanted one more up at it. And luckily, we had the 4th down, and it was special to get it back to Tolbert. He did a great job of coming across the field, getting open. Offensive line did a great job on that play, allowing me to stay in the pocket, and the persistence and resilience of the team just really showed on that drive.
Now, I believe that was after midnight. And so somebody jokingly said on social media, I don't know if it's true, that Dak Prescott became the first quarterback to throw an interception and a touchdown in the same game on 2 different days. Because how many games do you see spill into the next day?
Also,
but that game was delayed significantly because of all the rain.
That football games are delayed? I know there was lightning, but I never remember football games being delayed.
Just for lightning, and just safety. You're still going to play the game. But
they did it for snow last year, that big blizzard. But yeah, it's not off. And that will do it for the NFL yesterday. Week 5, Don. Week 5 is in the books.
We always do that. Like, where
you blink.
Only 12 left.
That's life.
A dozen.
That's life, my friend.
The only number with a name.
What was that?
That's right.
Dozen?
A dozen left, yeah, sure.
That's what Nate
said.
Bargatze
Nate Bargatze, yeah, that's
what I'm saying.
Sure.
Now you're with me.
I love it. All right, we're going to finish up strong as we lead you into a very tiny, small, minuscule Dan Grassa. Just a half hour of his brilliance before coverage of the Yankees and the Royals right here on 880 ESPN.
The Bombers are set for an epic October run.
Just outstanding.
And yes is your Yankees postseason home.
This team is set up to go deep into October.
With enhanced pre- and post-game coverage around every playoff game, plus preview specials and exclusive player access.
We're excited to take our shot.
You followed the chase all season. Tonight, get set for a pivotal Game 2 against the Royals. Starts tonight at 6:30 on Yes and the Yes app.
The Michael Kay Show on Yes is presented by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
Untuck It makes every guy look better. From tall to short, from big to slim. From our iconic button-downs for all shapes and sizes to a whole lot more. Try us today. Untuck It. We just make guys look better. Oh, and we make great styles for her, too. Find the perfect fit at untuckit.com in more than 80 stores worldwide.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years. When I have customers come in and ask for something for memory, I recommend Prevagen. Number one, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription. And I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really works so good for me. Makes my day.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription.
Hey everyone, Emerald Lagasse here, and I'm so excited to tell you about my biggest air fryer yet.
Introducing Emerald Lagasse's Dual Zone Air Fryer Oven with dual-sided cooking chambers. Now you can cook 2 different foods 2 different ways that finish at the same time. No more back-to-back cooking. Now main dish and sides finish at the same time. Enjoy juicy grilled burgers at the same time as air-fried French fries. Broiled savory salmon at the same time as roasted asparagus. Broiled chicken parm finishes at the same time as baked cheesy garlic bread. The secret is in the QuickSync technology that matches the cooking times and settings of each food, so they're programmed to finish at the same time.
I tell you, I cannot recommend this enough. It comes out perfect every single time.
It's awesome. But watch, remove the center divider and it transforms into a large 25-quart capacity oven for delicious family-size Monday to Sunday meals that cook up to 60% faster. Slow cook a pot of Mama's meatballs, delicious savory chili, or bake the easiest homemade bread without turning on that big oven. You can even cook right from the freezer. Mozzarella sticks from frozen to ooey gooey in minutes, or frozen shrimp to sizzling scampi in just 10 minutes. Now you can try Emerald Lagasse's 25-quart dual zone air fryer oven with dual cooking chamber, removable oven divider, and toasting rack in your home for 30 days for just $14.99. But wait, you also get Emerald's free downloadable dual zone recipe book. Order now and we'll automatically upgrade you to his deluxe cooking kit absolutely free, complete with 2 baking sheets, 2 crisper baskets, large baking sheet, the grill plate, the rotisserie spit and fetch tool, plus a 100% satisfaction guarantee and a 1-year VIP protection plan. Plus, ask how you can get free shipping. This offer will not last, so order now.
You're gonna love it. I guarantee it.
Call 1-800-601-3142 or go to emeralddualzone.com.
We got Nets.
I was diagnosed at 65.
37. Earlier than most.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association. Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
It was a tremendous point. Just tremendous.
No, I actually thought there could have been another one for me today. What do you think about that?
You get one, okay? So don't be greedy.
I think the Breece Hall point could have also gotten it today.
Nice feeling it, Michael.
I'm feeling this is a good day today.
Win a week, then talk to us.
Why? I did win a week a few weeks ago.
Football Monday brought to you by Infinity. Experience the Infinity lineup at your tri-state retailer today. You know, it's time to go inside the numbers. Brought to you by Eisner-Amper. The Mets are 0-2 when scoring first this postseason, and 3-0 when the opponent scores first. How about that? They are the first team all time to be winless when scoring first and unbeaten while allowing the first run through the first 5 games of a postseason. That's Inside the Numbers, brought to you by Eisner-Amper, a leading business advisory firm, helping clients create a winning game plan to transform knowledge into action for your business. Check out Eisner-Amper Solutions Insight Resources at eisneramper.com/solutions. I don't know if you feel like this, Don. I'm sure you don't give it much thought when it comes to the Yankees, but what a swing and a miss when it came to Bryce Harper. That guy is built for the moment, and he would have just been the perfect player at Yankee Stadium. Just the absolute perfect player.
No, but they didn't need any outfielders, Brian Cashman.
That's what they said.
And as you said, that was an excuse because you can't, I guess, as a general manager, say that you want or don't want somebody that's a potential free agent. But, yeah, he would have been terrific. He's an outstanding player, and yet Washington loses him, and they go out and they win a World Series. So it's kind of strange, but, boy, Schwarber's just amazing. And there's a lot of really good hitters on that, but the guy that you fear the most in the moment is Harper.
Can I say something it's controversial?
Okay.
Is there a team with more annoying-looking white guys on it than Philly? It's practically their whole line.
I don't want it to go to race, but they are
go
annoying.
To race, you animal.
Well, I'm just saying it's a particular
country.
I know, you're right.
You can't be an annoying black man?
No, you definitely can, but it would play differently if I said that. And in baseball, a team full of annoying black men is not a thing. It's one of the problems baseball has right now. But they just have so many like shaggy, bearded, long-haired,
they kind of remind me of those 04 Red Sox. They do.
There is the beards are repulsive,
and not only repulsive, it's like they don't even clean their hair. They're greasy.
Yeah, they're a filthy, greasy team. The Phillies.
Wow,
it's disgusting.
And that brings us to who's hot, who's not.
Well,
brought to you by General Plumbing Supply. Who's hot? Mark Vientos and Fernando Tatis Jr., who became the first players aged 25 or younger to have multi-home run postseason games on the same day. Who's not? Aaron Rodgers, who threw 3 interceptions in the game for the 6th time in his career. His teams are winless in those games. That's Who's Hot, Who's Not, brought to you by General Plumbing Supply. General Plumbing Supply's team of experts ready to tackle your next kitchen or bath remodel. For winning results, trust the real experts at GPS. Visit shopgps.com. Now let's work through some phone calls as we lead you to the great Dan Grassa, 1-800-919-3776. And just like that, I mean, you can't make it up. All the phones just went off of my... They're back now with absolutely no names on it at all.
No, I was happy to help you. You want me to do it for you?
Well, there's no names on here right now.
I got you. Let's go full back. Let's go to Griffin in Connecticut. Otherwise, Mike will never take him. Hey, Griffin.
You know, one of the guys on Philly, Peter, Brandon Marsh, my dad calls him the Mountain Man.
See? Yeah, they all look like that.
But that was not my point. My point is about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. This can't be me. But I'm wondering if Aaron Rodgers not playing any preseason games, I know not even playing one snap, and missing some of the mandatory thing when he went on that trip. This could maybe be a reason why he struggled a little, because he's getting in form with some of these guys because he's not used to playing with any of these guys. So I don't know if this is his preseason. He's really learning how to play with these guys. And that's why he looks off the same page with some of these guys. I'm just throwing that out.
You know what? We can't say you're wrong. We can't say you're wrong, Griffin. He didn't have any reps at all other than in practice. It's not the same thing. And you're not playing against people that want to take your head off. In practice, they can't touch Aaron Rodgers.
Well, yeah, listen, I do think it's meaningful to play a little bit. I've said that. But he did play with these guys last year's preseason as well.
Yeah, and Lazard's his guy. He had a connection with Wilson.
Yeah, but, I mean, how about protection schemes? The offensive line is different.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how are you?
By the way, there were some. Do you remember the one running play yesterday? I've never seen a running play get blown up the way that one running play got blown up. Do you remember which one I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
I think it was in the eye, and they went to the handoff. I've never seen. It was like someone calling your play in Tecmo Bowl. There wasn't even a chance.
Are they tipping their pitches? But
it was wild.
Moses is a better run blocker than the first-round pick that they replaced him with. But it's going to get better. Just how much of a hole do you dig yourself? That is going to be a colossally big game for Week 6. That is going to be a huge game on Monday. Win, and you're tied for first place and technically in first because you would have the tiebreaker against the Bills. Lose, and now you're 2-4. You can dig yourself a hole you might not be able to get out of. That is a colossally big game for October for the Jets.
Danny in Long Island. Danny.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. You know, my grandma didn't get any credit for the home run. I mean, we got the Huck-Tui girl, we got Grimace, and we even got the caller who correctly corrected that to be a 3-run homer. But I was really looking forward to the Huck-Tui girl and my grandmother being mentioned in the same sentence. That was
well, you know what? You just did it. Your grandmother's proud.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about these quarterbacks that go to other teams and suddenly have success because there's better coaching. There's several examples this year we all know. Well, the opposite is also in effect. Well, I'm looking at this game, and Aaron Rodgers is screaming and waving his arms to get the play in, and nothing's going right. These are things beyond his control. Meanwhile, the Viking quarterback is at the line of scrimmage with 15 seconds to go, repeatedly overlooking the defense, which to me as a defensive person, when that quarterback looks at me and gives me a little wink, changes the play, that's scary because now nothing is rushed. It looks like it's working. And it's just not him. He may not be what he used to be, but he's still. Let's see. Coaching to me, Salah needs to go. He's uninvolved. They said during the broadcast he made a commitment this year to go to the quarterback meetings so he can learn how the offense communicates. Excuse me. You are in charge of the entire operation, and up until this year, you did not know how the offense communicates. This is why sometimes these defensive coaches have a hard time in the 21st century with these rules that it's all offense, which brings me to my Steelers, by the way, because I've had enough of this nonsense. You know, I don't know what to make of it. Don, we always say it's going to get better. We have no evidence of that. We have no evidence to say that it's going to get better, other than the fact that the division is not good, apparently. So maybe, they can get to eight wins.
I would agree with you on that. There's no evidence other than the fact his past history, which is history is past, so that's redundant. And the second thing is, I don't feel sorry for Aaron Rodgers. This is his hand-picked offensive coordinator. Loved him. Loves him.
Well, that's
sorry if they don't have communication. He doesn't get the playing in time, Don. That's on Hackett.
Yeah, and he was fine with Salah until all of a sudden he wasn't. And the first indications of that were when we had Ian O'Connor on, and he got a sense that during the offseason there may have been a little bit of a parting of the ways. But Aaron Rodgers controls things. If he wanted another head coach, I'm sure Woody would have gotten him another head coach. He probably liked Salah because Salah was going to stay out of his way because Rodgers and Hackett have this. Well, it didn't look like they had it. Doesn't look like they've had it all year outside of beating New England, which it seems like everybody's been able to do. So I do think it can get better because I do think Rodgers is a great quarterback, and even if he plays to the level he did a couple of years ago, that should be enough with his defense for them to compete for a playoff spot. But he's right about Salah. We saw it with Rex, right? Rex was more of a defensive guy, but I still felt like he was somewhat engaged with the offense. He still ran a style that he wanted to run. He didn't just hand the reins over to the offense and not care. Like, it just feels like Salah's a defensive guy. He's a little rah-rah, try to keep the team together, but leaves the offense to Nathaniel Hackett. I don't think that's enough. I think a head coach has to be involved in all facets of the game in some way, shape, or form, and it doesn't feel like he's involved in the offensive side at all.
John in Long Island. Johnny.
Hey, Michael. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Michael, I just want to say one thing. I think I've been watching Yankees since 1955, and you, Peter, and Don are, without a doubt, not only the most informed guys on TV, the most knowledgeable, and I really enjoy listening to you. And Michael, we met in person one day.
Where was that?
It was at Yankee Stadium a few years back at a concession stand, and we started talking. I knew you had gone to Fordham, and I told you I went to St. John's, and it was a great conversation. I just want to tell everybody, you're a gentleman. You're the closest thing to Mel Allen that we got today.
High praise. That's very nice.
I don't think it's true. But
Peter too. Peter and Don, they're great.
Oh, thanks, man.
I just, like I said, I live and die with the Yankees. To me, I don't care what anybody says. The greatest team of all time, not only in baseball, in all sports, it's got to be the Yankees.
Well, enjoy the game today, John. I hope you enjoy the game.
Yeah, John, enjoy that.
Thank you. That's a very nice phone call. Let's go to Peter in Brooklyn.
Hey, boys. Long time no speak.
What's up?
And don't worry, I'm not here to compare you guys to 90s TV characters. We did that last time, so
thank you.
Yeah, well, first I'll say that Richard mispronouncing Verdugo just reminded me of Stewie from Family Guy with the cool whip.
Yeah,
but I understand cool whip. I don't understand Verdugo.
Yes, cool whip makes much more sense than Verdehu or Verduhu.
But anyway, guys, so with the Jets, maybe you heard earlier, because I called into Barton Hahn earlier today. I just want to see your thoughts on this. Is, like, honestly, if the Jets take care of the Bills and possibly the Texans in the next 2 weeks, then I feel like this Minnesota loss will almost mean nothing, because two of their three last losses were against NFC teams. So it's like, and maybe the Broncos down the road could come back to bite them in the rear end, if we're talking tiebreaker scenarios, but I just think everyone just needs to calm down a bit.
Well, but you just asked them to do a lot, though, to beat the Bills and the Texans back-to-back weeks. That's a lot to do. Those are two of the better teams in the AFC. So you also don't want to be 2-5 and have your season be over.
No, absolutely not. And I would also say that if the Jets can somehow take care of the Bills and the Texans, let's say if Rodgers' ankle's still bothering him, I believe after the Texans, they're in New England. Why not let Tyrod Taylor play a game in New England if they take care of business the next 2 weeks to give Rodgers?
But Peter, let me ask you a question. Why are we moving on to them taking care of business? They didn't play well. Doesn't matter if it's an NFC team why would they play bad? They can't protect the quarterback.
Well, I understand. I meant under the assumption they are able to,
But see, that's the problem, Peter, that we're arguing about all day. Thank you for the call. Why is that assumption there? Why? Because it's Aaron Rodgers?
Let's call it the way it is. 5 weeks. It's not a huge sample, but it's a sample. Their best game was against one of the worst teams in football. They didn't play well against Tennessee at all. Were given the game. And they certainly didn't play well in San Francisco, and that hasn't aged well. 49ers have not been world beaters. We'll see what Minnesota ends up being. I thought they were beatable, but yes, and they're 5-0. I get it. And Denver, hey, that's going to hurt them if there's any tiebreakers for wild cards. But really, the only game that we can really say they played great was the New England game. Is that enough to make you believe that it's a fait accompli now? They're going to beat the Buffalo and Houston?
And that's a bad team.
Now, they might, but they're going to have to play way better. Way better than they played so far in the first month plus of the season.
New England is a bad football team.
Cool whip.
That's Richard right there. Well, by the way, guys, I know we're down to the last 10 minutes here. I don't want to forget. I don't want to give short shrift, as Michael K might say.
That's the only kind of shrift I hate.
Big congratulations are in order. You know what happened over the weekend, guys?
I do.
No.
You have a hat to prove it.
Nope.
No, we're not going there.
A dream came true. Congratulations. The Los Angeles Lakers have accomplished their goal this season. In a preseason game, LeBron and Bronny were on the court at the same time.
I think that is going to be the hardest thing for J.J. Redick to navigate. He's not ready to play in the NBA, and if they force feed him in there, that's awful.
But your best player said there's no expectation, so it sounds like that'll open the door for this glorified experiment to take place.
Everyone's talking about the Celtics. Can the Knicks, beat out the Celtics in the East?
But Brody Van Pelinka said there's expectations.
Well, listen, I'm just saying those expectations are down a bit because they already accomplished something. It happened so organically. You never could have believed it happened. Like, what were the odds that Bronny would play with his dad? Oh, I know what you're saying. 100%. Because his dad picked him and then put him on the floor with him. But what a moment, nonetheless. You know what I mean?
Mike in Long Island. Mike.
Mike?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Michael, Peter, Don.
What's up?
So,
What's up?
I called in I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
No, I called in just to say, Michael, as much as I would rather listen to you with the Yankee game, it's just a great feeling to listen to John Sterling. It just makes the game so much better. As much as I like Bob Costas, I'd rather have you, Michael, calling the game, but having John back is just a great great thing for the Yankees.
I agree. It's like a warm blanket. Absolutely a warm blanket. I couldn't agree with you more. Can I make one comment about the all the baseball broadcasts, both on Fox and TBS?
They're all hacks compared to you.
No, not
Go
to
ahead,
say
it.
that.
Okay.
But I wonder if this bothers you. Can we stop with the praying shots? No one cares. Because we're watching the game. We're not watching the fans watching the game. Stop with the praying shots. First of all, anybody who prays over the outcome of a baseball, football, or basketball game, get your head examined. There are more important things to pray for. God must laugh at those prayers. It's constant. The constant shots in the stands of people clasping their hands praying. Stop it.
It's like a default sort of just trope of late close baseball games.
Watch the field. That's what we want to watch. We don't want to see the woman or the man with their hands clasped. Oh, please, God, let him get a hit.
Well, and by the way, now with the pitch clock, you have a little less time to fill, right? So you don't need to go sit there that long.
Yeah, it's kind of tired. It just is tired. And can we also stop with this? And every sport does it. The big game, Peter, in the pregame. Let's watch the players come into the building.
Oh, we do that all the time on Yes.
It's so riveting. Like, what do we think that they get beamed to the stadium? We know they come in, okay? So unless you're going to show me video of like Aaron Judge on crutches, you're not.
But
really
I think
breaking
that the
anything.
reason we do it, I'll give you our excuse. People are curious to see, how they're dressed.
Oh my God!
It's a 10-second shot at the beginning of a game.
It's become a thing. They do it in WWE
I mean,
now,
ESPN
too.
does it with Stephen A. Smith. You okay with that? How Stephen A. Smith walks in.
But that got panned. I mean, people were
annoyed. That was very weak.
Well, the more people talk about it, the more people show it, because that is what we live in. By the way, Don, you'll be happy to know, we made that list the other day of potential horror movies to watch with myself and Natalie.
Yeah.
Last night we got started with a little Misery. She really
Kathy
enjoyed it.
Batesville.
You're not a fan?
No, I just think about that scene with the wood. It's rough.
I got to tell you, I didn't know that was coming.
Yeah, that's.
And Michael, do you recall who has a special cameo in Misery? I'll give you guys a hint. One of the most famous actor/actresses of all time.
Cary Grant.
You're close. You're legitimately close, but it's a woman.
I've seen the movie.
Katharine
I
Hepburn.
just can't think.
Lauren Bacall.
I don't remember.
Yeah, she plays his agent. Fantastic film, though. That Rob Reiner. What a guy.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Let's go to Chuck in Binghamton. Chuck.
Chuck.
Hey, listen, guys. Great show. Great show.
We're trying.
And Michael, great job on the calls on TBS. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
Listen,
ESPN.
I got a couple questions. One, I'm going to go back to the Met game. Turner, I believe, was on first, and there was a pickoff move, and I think it may have been reviewed. And
this Saturday, right?
Yes, and the announcers were saying that while the review was under review, they said that the laces of the glove of the first baseman, if that touches the player, that can't count.
That's true. That's the rule.
Now, I'm going to ask you this. The gloves that players put on today, that has to add a minimum of a half an inch, maybe an inch to their reach. So, I mean, you take the glove off the guy, I think that call, he's out.
Well, let's put it this way, Chuck, and we thank you for the call. I think the sliding mitts are ridiculous. It does add inches to your hand. It does make it easier to steal bases, which is probably what they want. It's ridiculous. You used to be able to grip your batting glove, and that would be your sliding glove. For them to put on that oven mitt, it's almost like a high-lie cesta. It's a joke. Now, in terms of the laces don't count, can you imagine how long people's laces would be if they knew it counted? They'd have a foot-long lace.
It would look ridiculous. No, that's the right call. But you're right. I don't understand. Why can't you just wear a batting glove?
Yeah.
Why do you have to have a sliding glove?
Because everybody, Tonka. It's the only way to describe it. Tonka. Charlie's bugged us for weeks. We had to get him a sliding glove for his travel team.
I don't even know what this is.
It's like the oven they put on their hand when they're at first base. So then they slide into second. You're closer to the bag because it's longer than your fingers.
And you should tell Charlie, you're too young to be diving head first anyway.
And you're better than
you slide with your feet.
He does slide with his feet. Still wants the sliding glove because it's cool.
And he knows that his parents are rich. No, listen, I get the same thing. My kids think that I can buy in.
And they're right. You do. You make copious amount of money.
Listen, I do well, but not as well as you.
Let's go to Dan in Maine. Dan.
How you guys doing? Just want to say, first off, love all three of you guys. Michael, you're the voice of our household from baseball season from 3 o'clock till 10 o'clock. Don, in the wintertime, we'll get you with the hockey games. And Peter, we work in the school system, me and my wife, so unfortunately don't get to listen to you in the mornings, but love listening to you guys.
Thank you.
I wanted to call since Saturday. The TBS broadcast, I don't know, I saw on Twitter, X, whatever, they were saying they blocked the crowd noise. It had exhibition game feeling to it. It was just a tough listen. And, and then having, Ron Darling he's just not cut out to do Yankee baseball. And just the whole time, it's just, I know it's not possible, but, Michael, we need you on those broadcasts.
Well, Dan, thank you, but I agree with Don. I mean, I'm seeing on social media people criticizing Bob Costas. He might be one of the top 3 broadcasters who ever lived.
And I wish the caller still. Why is Ron Darling not cut out to do Yankee baseball? Why? He's one. Honestly, and I'm not saying this as a Met fan because TBS hired him to do, and he's been there for a decade. Ron Darling is outstanding at what he does. Why is he not cut out to do Yankee baseball? Well, why?
You know what's funny, Don? Adam Amin, who's doing the Padres. No. What's the other? I guess he's doing the Mets.
What
he's doing the Mets and the Philly series. He put up a series of 4 tweets. 2 tweets said, "You guys are unbelievable Met homers." 2 tweets said, "You're unbelievable Philly homers." People have to stop. You're not getting your local broadcaster. Sorry, it's not happening.
And you haven't for decades. So please stop. Listen, we'd all love to have our local guys on, but just why is he not? I'd love to get the explanation. Why is Ron Darling not cut out to do Yankee baseball? Why? Because he's the Met announcer. He's really good. So a local team's going to hire him, and the Mets did because he's a former Met. But why is he not cut out? Why? He's not rah-rahing for your team?
Quick quiz, Don. Let's see if you know. Ron Darling had a year of experience broadcasting before he came to the Mets. What team did he broadcast for?
Was it one of his former teams?
No, it was not.
So I really don't know the answer to that question. I will guess I don't know.
The Washington Nationals.
Nationals? Yep. Yeah, I was going to say Expos because he was an Expo. So technically, I guess he did play for them.
All right, so Dan Gross is coming up in a couple of moments, and then we'll lead you right into coverage of the Yankees and Royals game 2. We'll talk about it all tomorrow. We have Boog Shambi. We'll also have Bob Wischusen. Everybody have a great night. Enjoy the game. See you.
That's a wrap on the show for today. Coming up next here on Yes, our pregame show before Game 2 of the ALDS between the Yankees and Royals. And don't forget, after the final out over on TBS, kick it back to Yes for full post-game coverage. For all of us here on the Michael K. Show, this is Chris Sheeran saying have a great night. We'll see you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Save up to $7,200 in discounts and tax credits, plus take up to 84 months to pay when you purchase a new HVAC system from A.J. Perry. This is a limited time offer. Call 844-668-7555 to schedule your appointment.
I love those guys.
Get 3.9% APR for 36 months plus $1,000 purchase allowance on most 2024 Cadillac models when you finance through Cadillac Financial.
Hi, I'm Greg. I live in Bloomington, Illinois. I'm not an actor. I'm just a regular person. Some people say, why should I take Prevagen? I don't have a problem with my memory. Memory loss is not something that occurs overnight. I started noticing subtle lapses in memory. I want people to know that Prevagen has worked for me. It's helped my memory. It's helped my cognitive qualities. Give it a try. I want it to help you just like it has helped me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription.
Is Cialis Daily better than Viagra? Does it last longer than Viagra? Are trial packs available? Get started today with a 3-month trial pack if appropriate at TryRexMD.com.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
You got a minute?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
We got nets.
That's the ketchup? No. Dad, are you okay?
Yeah, just stressed out.
Oh, and the melody is sounding so much better. I can play it for you. Wait, where's your guitar?
I gave it to your cousin.
What? That guitar's like your favorite thing.
I don't need it anymore. Some days are just better than others.
I think you should go talk to someone.
It's not that easy.
Have you been thinking about suicide? You can talk to me, Dad.
Is it possible to be more capable and more practical? Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
Do you spend hours maintaining your gutters? Save that time with LeafGuard's maintenance-free system. Call 1-833-2-GUTTERS. Mesh filters sit on top of your gutters, building up debris and eventually clogging. Then they need to be cleaned too. Honestly, your home should have been built with LeafGuard gutters. LeafGuard's wraparound hood deflects debris and keeps water away from your home. The one-piece seamless system is strong, 20% thicker than average, and built to last. Plus, LeafGuard is guaranteed to never clog for as long as you own your home. Right now, get a complete LeafGuard system for only $99 down, $99 a month, and $99 installation. You'll also receive a $100 Visa gift card with a free gutter inspection and in-home estimate. Damage from clogged gutters can cost you thousands. Never worry about clogged gutters again. Don't wait, you've still got time. Call 1-833-2-GUTTERS today. That's 1-833-2-GUTTERS.
The Bombers are set for an epic October run.
Just outstanding.
And yes is your Yankees postseason home.
This team is set up to go deep into October.
With enhanced pre- and post-game coverage around every playoff game, plus preview specials and exclusive player access.
We're excited to take our shot.
You followed the chase all season. Tonight, get set for a pivotal Game 2 against the Royals. Starts tonight at 6:30 on Yes and the Yes app.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
It's the Kansas City Royals and the New York Yankees from the ballpark in the Bronx.
I mean, what a game. Gritty game by them, just the back and forth. A lot of big plays, a lot of big moments.
She's gone! It's Labor Day. And he just drilled a 2-run home run to right.
We didn't necessarily sting the ball all over the yard, but man, we had a lot of big at-bats.
They force in yet another run with the 4th walk of the inning.
I feel like we did exactly what we were supposed to do, keep on passing the baton and keep on scoring runs and putting pressure on them.
Base hit to left. Chisholm can fly. He rounds third and heads for the plate. And the Yankees jump back in front, 6-5.
See, it's not going to be our big guys that are always going to come through. Every at-bat, every pitch in the playoffs matters. And, our bullpen came up and closed the door on them.
Cabrera has it. Will take it himself, and game one goes to the Yankees.
These are great teams playing good baseball out there, and they never give up, and that's what kind of games you're going to see from us.
Verdugo was one of the Bombers' heroes in the series opener, singling in the game-winning run in the 7th inning. He finished what Gleyber Torres started, 3 more times on base for the leadoff man, including a 2-run homer that got the team on the board. And how about 3 hits in your pinstripe postseason debut? Juan Soto and the Yankees are off and running in October. They began the best-of-5 American League Division Series with a win, and now the focus shifts to Game 2. Let's set the stage as the New York Yankees host the Kansas City Royals in a marquee Monday night matchup in the Bronx. Certainly hope you're having a great night. Welcome to the FanDuel Yankees pregame. Bob Lorenz, John Flaherty, Jack Curry, and Michael Kay with you. Yankees can take a commanding 2-0 lead in this series, then get a win tonight with Rodon on the hill.
And I think there's an urgency to make that happen for the Yankees, Bob. It's only Game 2. We could have a lot of baseball ahead of ourselves, but the Yankees are the favorite. They're home. They didn't get a lot from their stars in Game 1, so it's the time of the season where you want to take control of the series, and history would be on their side if they could win Game 2. In 90 best-of-5 series in Major League history, the team that started 2-0 has won 80 of those. So, Flash, they give the baseball to Carlos Rodon and hope that he can get them off to a good start.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Rodon because that's where I'm thinking tonight with the Yankees starting pitcher. And at this desk in 2009, there was an unlikely hero in A.J. Burnett, who there were a lot of question marks coming into that series, what he was going to do. I kind of feel the same way with Carlos Rodon tonight. He had a great year. He won 16 games. He had a rebound season. But, Michael, I still feel like there are question marks from Yankee fans on what this guy's going to do tonight.
Oh, absolutely. And there are also question marks about the Yankee offense. Despite winning Game 1, it wasn't there. And it's time for the captain to crunch. The captain is Aaron Judge. The Yankees, throughout the whole season, have struggled against left-handed starting pitchers. This is a top-flight left-handed starting pitcher that they're facing. So Judge didn't play well in Game 1. He had the 3 strikeouts. They still won the game. Stanton didn't play well in Game 1, and they ended up winning the game anyway. But if Judge and Stanton can live up to the back of their baseball cards, it can make it a lot easier for Rodon and the rest of the team.
Well, they are both in the Yankee starting lineup tonight. Let's take a look at that starting lineup that will go against the lefty Cole Reagans. It's brought to you courtesy of Toyota. Juan Soto 3 for 5 in the opener. Alex Verdugo 2 for 3. In fact, Soto against lefties this year, a .286 hitter, 13 home runs and 42 runs batted in. And then look at the number 9 spot. The name John Birdie jumps out at you, Jack, because making his first ever career start at first base.
And it's interesting how the baseball world turns. Birdie dealt with so many injuries this season, but now because of Rizzo's injury, he gets the nod at first base. The Yankees going with the right-hander there, even though Reagans has a reverse split. I have to tell you, when I was out at the field with Meredith Marakovitz on Friday for our ALDS preview show, we were set up right near first base. Now, there was a screen there. I've never been that close to guys working out, getting ready for a postseason. And when we watched them circulate around first base, Birdie was the most athletic. He was the most adept. And Flash, for a guy who has never played there, he seemed awfully comfortable.
Yeah, but that was in drills. Right now, all of a sudden, he's playing first base for the first time ever in the big leagues during a playoff game. And I was just thinking about John Birdie, what he went through. I mean, he comes over to the Yankees. He's been hurt pretty much the whole year. He ends up making the roster. I don't think anybody would have guessed that he's going to get a start at first base. I thought Aaron Boone was going to keep the lineup pretty much the same. But now you think about Birdie in there. He gives you the element of speed, a right-handed bat. If he can get on base, you wonder if he's going to cause some havoc on the base paths.
You know, this is worrying Yankee fans because I just finished my radio show, which you saw here on the Yes Network. And, you know, why are they experimenting at first base? Why don't they have a legitimate backup first baseman? They do. And that guy is DJ LeMahieu. And he's also on the IL. Anybody they go to is an experiment. Anybody. Cabrera was an experiment. He had 2 big scoops. Ben Rice is an experiment. He's a catcher by trade. Birdie is an experiment. He has never played a professional game at first base. He has played some in spring training. That was a couple of years ago. They have to try things out. They have to find that guy. They didn't expect that Anthony Rizzo was going to break his fingers in the second to last game of the year. These are things they have to do. The one curious aspect of this is Reagans is a guy who has good splits, or opposite splits, should I say. Birdie is a right-hander. Reagans is better against righties than he is against lefties, so there was some thought that they'd go with Rice, but I think it was just a feel that Boone wanted to go with Birdie.
Well, guys, for more on the lineup decision, let's get it out to the stadium right now. Meredith Marakovich standing by with the clubhouse report. And Meredith, tell us more about the decision to use Birdie at first base tonight.
Bob, it is really wild. You guys already touched on it, but 461 games over his 7-year Major League career, and never has he started at first base. I just heard Michael talking a little bit about Ben Rice being an option, and Aaron Boone said they considered that, especially considering the reverse splits with Cole Reagans. But you're looking at putting in a rookie who isn't all that familiar with first base himself. Aaron Boone just felt like maybe that wasn't the best spot for him, so they opted to go with John Birdie. And there you see him during the workout. Now, he did take a couple reps towards the end of the regular season when Anthony Rizzo originally got hurt, but then he really spent the time when the regular season ended until the beginning of the postseason to really have a crash course at first base. And I spoke to him the other day just before game one and asked him how it was going, and he smiled and said it's going well, really well, almost as if he was a little bit surprised how comfortable he was feeling at a position that he has really never played before. Now, when Aaron Boone was asked about it and how he looked during those sim games during the off time, he said he looked absolutely outstanding. Now, one of the guys that has been helping trying to get him up to speed at first base is Travis Chapman. He is the Yankees first base and infield coach, and I asked him what gave the Yankees the confidence to put Birdie at first base this evening based on what they saw during those workouts.
Well, it starts off with his willingness and his ability to play all kinds of different positions that he's shown throughout his career. And, when Rizzo got hurt, we started talking about it, and he started taking ground balls and just wanted to make it an option. And, he's shown to me and Booney that he can be trusted over there, and he's ready to go today.
He told me the other day he was almost pleasantly surprised with how well it went. Were you pleasantly surprised how good he looked out there?
Absolutely. He's a natural athlete. He's a great infielder, and put him over there with a little bit bigger glove. And, again, the willingness to go over there and give it a try, and he really did a nice job over the last week or 10 days.
You guys typically say the footwork and some of the nuances of the position takes a little time to get used to. How do you try to speed that up over the short period of time that you guys had to work?
Just hard work, game reps. We try to recreate game-like situations out there, bunts, chop ground balls.